Hello, hello, hello. Today is Wednesday, and we're going to discuss day 6 of the Norman trial. Come on in, come on in. Hey, Fanny, how are you? Come on in and get comfortable. Um, there was a lot of things that took place on yesterday, but today may be the end of the trial. In fact, I'm waiting for a confirmation email. I'm sorry, text message to see if the jury is in fact deliberating right now because someone I saw that somewhere on YouTube. So I'm waiting for a confirmation that is in fact true. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I loved when I'm working and listening. There's always something to keep helps the day go fast when you're on YouTube and working. So anyway, he hasn't responded yet. So come on in. Hey, aloha, Sherry. Good morning. The do you call those people outside? The landscapers. You may hear them outside. It's kind of noisy sometimes. Hey, Sag Life, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please hit the like button as you come in. Okay, like I said, we're going to talk about yesterday, which was day 6. I saw somewhere which made me jump up and because I had this last night, but it was late last night before I got a chance to finish it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. But then I just, hey, Regala, welcome. Saw that the jury was in deliberation. So I'm waiting for confirmation of that because everything has been moving fast and they are ahead of schedule. So, yesterday, which was day 6, before the um oh, okay, I was looking at something. So you guys hear me okay, right? Okay, so at before the jury came in, how everybody walks in, Bill typically likes to give us a rundown of how, you know, things kind of assembled. Um, SAG life, how things assembled. So there was a lot of Sweetie Pie cast there on yesterday, which was a little different than prior days, but there was about, he said, 13 plus of them. So it was like Janet, Miss Janice, Miss Linda, the office manager, JR, Big Ed, Monique and her daughter, Bruce. Their cousin Michelle was there. I think it was her first time. Calvin, church boy. Charles was late as usual. In fact, he said Charles and maybe Charles's younger brother, they had to like find separate seats. That's how crowded. They said the courthouse was packed yesterday. They even had the overflow open. So that was interesting. Um, he said that Miss Robbie came in. She was sharp. Like the first day, he said she looked kind of, but he said yesterday, for some reason, she was like, just he's so detailed. He said Miss Robbie had on like a beautiful forest green pinstripe pantsuit with a blazer, some black high heel suede boots. And she's like 83. So he said, man, she looked fabulous. With the cutout toes, light pink polish. I'm like, man, he got everything. He said her face was beat to the gods. She actually looked gorgeous. She actually looked like a multimillionaire, blonde wig and all that. So anyway, that was just something that he laid out. So it's like, wow. So the Griggs family, of course, was there. That's Andre's family, the mother, his brother, sisters, some aunts and cousins. So it was a packed house. So in the beginning of before the jury came in, Peter Cohen, Trevel's attorney, the day before we talked about being able to bring in documents, emails and things like that. So basically, he brought those in as as promised. It was emails and um, nothing really important, like talking, text messages and emails or whatever, talking about plea agreements and things like that. So for some reason, like I said, Dale is one of the people who he pays attention to everything, but he says that you could see Tim's attorney whispering something to him, and Tim nodded no, like he shook his head no twice. And then there was a sidebar. Tim kind of like was staring, like straight ahead, and then he kind of glanced over towards where the Montgomery family was sitting, and then he said that they walked out. I guess Miss Robbie went out with Tim's attorney, and it was like, I guess, kind of like a recess before they even started. And come to find out, Tim apparently was trying to fire his attorney. He wanted to fire his attorney and represent himself at the like last hour. And so um he looked at Tim looked frustrated when they brought him back in, because I guess they had that little break. And um Miss Robbie came back in. The attorney, of course, came back in, and Tim's attorney made an announcement, that the request was withdrawn. So I guess Tim had requested to fire his attorney and then withdrew it. And the thought process behind that, we're thinking, is that Tim is trying to set this up to be prepared for a mistrial, or not a mistrial, but what do you call it? An appeal, so that he can probably say he didn't have the proper representation or something. Everything is like a play. Tim and his attorney, as you look at this, Tim is a script writer. And apparently he's a pretty good writer. Like, he wrote the script for the Sweetie Pie um, show. So it was interesting to note that the jurors, there were 15 jurors. Um, there were 9 males and 6 females, and all of the jury were Caucasians, with the exception of one of the male jurors is an Indian, and one of the female jurors is an Asian. So there's no African American jurors, and like I said, that was the breakdown. So with the exception of one Asian, one Indian, everyone else is Caucasian. These are people who are not supposed to know anything about sweetie pies. But then, as I thought about it, if these people are from the area and Miss Robbie is as like she was a Nigette, I mean, not, I mean, maybe there are some people who didn't know her, but it's kind of hard to believe that they've never, they don't know anything about this family. But anyway, so the first witness was Melody Culvert, and we talked about her the day before. She's the producer from Welcome to Sweetie Pies, for Welcome to Sweetie Pies. And it's actually called Penguin Media. She is 60 years old, and she lives between Los Angeles and Canada, because Penguin Media is apparently located in Los Angeles. And she said that she met Tim around January 2013, and this is when she took over production. She was asked how often she communicated with Tim, and she said daily, because she was the producer, and he was the executive producer or something for Sweetie Pies. Like, he was in charge of, like I said, the scripts and who said what and who did what. They asked her if she was familiar with Dre, and she says from the years of 2013 to 14, she was. And they also asked her what was her perception of the relationship between the two. She answered that Tim, and this is all allegedly, Tim was a father figure and a mentor to Dre, in her opinion, and that that Tim helped him get more screen time because he did the scheduling and things like that, and he wrote them into the script. So she felt like Tim was like a role model. So then let's see. She got kind of emotional when she was speaking. Um, um, I don't know. I guess because she was like reminiscing on, what she thought was a mentor, an uncle who was looking out for his nephew, and thinking that, and then the whole situation in the moment. So while she was talking about how Tim was a mentor and all of that to Dre, Rails, being as observant as he is, he says Dre's sister, he saw her like shaking her head. Like she's been on social media from what I've heard, speaking about how she knows Tim did it and all of this. But she's not Tim's niece. She's Dre's sister, and Dre is Tim's nephew. So that's Dre's sister. So she was asked how much time she spent per day with Tim, and she said about 8 to 10 hours a day, except on Mondays because the restaurant was closed and they didn't do filming. And one question that was kind of interesting to know is that she was asked, was all the cast members actually required to have cell phones calls recorded? And she said yes. If they had a personal cell phone, they had to put it on speakerphone, and not that it would all make it to air, but they would determine if that was something they wanted to keep as part of the script. So she said yes, and so just in case, um, you know, people didn't want their conversations to be like from, like depending on which phone they wanted to use, many of them had burner phones as their on-air phones, and that wasn't unusual. So the burner phones is important because of the fact that that's what Tim used and had people allegedly use during the crime. So she said that, yeah, she said that the burner phones was a common thing because they would use those as their on-air phones, which is, just weird to me that, you would have to have a separate phone to work at the restaurant if you didn't want your personal calls to be possibly recorded. So actually, she was the only the defense for the defense. She was the last person. Um, so they didn't cross examine, and the defense rested. So then there was a sidebar. They played the static and all of that, and um, it's weird because when they finished the sidebar, then um, the judge addressed the jury for a short dismissal, and he apologized because they had just really gotten started. So it's like, like I said, they treat the jury like kids in a grown folk conversation. So they kind of have them step out as soon as the door closes. Then the judge addresses the court, and so this is where the judge says, Tim, he addresses Tim, is it true that you decided to testify? So Tim did take the stand, which people thought he wouldn't because generally it's not good if the defendant takes the stand, in his own case. So Tim said yes. So the judge reminded him of his rights, to cover himself, basically, you don't have to, you have the right to not do so, blah, blah, blah. So Tim says yes. And the judge informed the court, because Tim was taking the stand, that if you have an outburst, react, make, disturbances and things like that, you will be held in contempt of court. because I guess he expected people to react a certain way when Tim got up there, especially his mom and siblings and things, family members. So anyway, they went on and swore in witness number 2, who was James Timothy Norman. So he was sworn in, and he's 43 years old, from St. Louis. They asked him who raised him. He said his mom, which, from what I've heard, his grandmother actually did, because his mom was on the road. But anyway, he said his mom is Robbie Montgomery, raised him. He talked about how his father passed while his mom was pregnant, about 6 months pregnant with him. So he never met his dad. And they asked him about his employment with Sweetie Pies or whatever. He said from 2000 that okay, so we have to remember that the day before, the attorneys agreed not to present to the jury about Tim being arrested, about Andre's bad habits or whatever. So that was kind of agreed, because apparently, and I'm doing the little quotation marks with my fingers, apparently this jury knows nothing about what we know as super fans, whatever, about the family, about Tim being in prison, about Andre being a troubled kid or whatever. So he said 2010 he started working at the Mangrove location, and then they started filming, and he said that the filming stopped around 2017 and 18 after the death of Dre. So that's what they talked about. So they asked him about his burner phones, and basically he admitted that he has 3 or 4 burner phones. And he says that he had separate phones for the girls he dated. So each girl had their own phone, even while he was with Janae. So he had a phone for Janae, he had a phone for Susie, Jen, whoever he was dating, messing around with. So he was just, saying, so it was not abnormal for him to have a burner phone. And they asked him how much he made from Penguin, which was Sweetie Pies from the show, and it was objected. For some reason, every time they asked about his income from Sweetie Pies, it was objected. But he did talk about his other earnings, and he was allowed to talk about the money that came into the restaurant, but just not like his own personal money. Hey Ginger, welcome. Please hit the like. So they asked him, when did he become an owner, because he was just an employee and a manager at one point. And then so what happened is when Miss Robbie decided to open up a crust in 2011, he actually became owner of Mangrove. So he was then asked how much he would make per week from Mangrove, and he said per week during the height of the restaurant, he would make like about $50,000 per week. $50,000 per week. And he also, sold merchandise like T-shirts and stuff. He had 2 ATMs so that when people come into the restaurant, they can take money out. And he said he made like $1,500 per week from the ATMs. I need to get an ATM. I'm just like looking at that like, wow, I'm always looking for another source of income. I believe you should have multiple. And so that, that was what he said that he made, about $50,000 per week. Every time, like I said, he was asked about the show's income, it was objected, because they did keep trying to get the show money. So this isn't even including the show money. This is just money from the restaurant per week. And apparently this is from one of the locations. Hey Lakin, how are you? So they asked Tim, when was the first time you heard that Travail was arrested? And he says he didn't even know Travail had been arrested until everyone else found out when it was on the news. And They asked him about his brother, about Andre's dad, and he said that when Andre's dad passed in 1995, Tim was like a sophomore, junior in high school, around the age of 15, and Dre was around 8 months old, and that he was killed in a gang fight where I guess two people, he was in a fight and he was stabbed. So they asked him about the relationship with Dre, you know, and he said that Dre would come every summer and most holidays. Um, and between, I guess he started coming around 2007 or so, but said that Tim lived with Miss Robbie when Dre would come, and he lived with Miss Robbie when Dre would come, and that Dre was living in Texas, and then so every year Dre was coming all the way up till he started staying there regularly. So he lived in Texas, and then he did his freshman and sophomore year in Texas, and then Tim still had a room at Miss Robbie's house. So that's a point that he made, or that was brought out. Even when he lived with Janae, he still had a room at Miss Robbie's house, which is not uncommon. Hey, Mika, it's not uncommon to have a room at your mom's house. If I guess I don't know if he was married, that he wouldn't have no room at his mom's house. But anyway, he did. So it was acknowledged that Tim said that as a family, they made the decision to allow Dre to come and stay with them in St. Louis and raise him. And there was an agreement between Tim, Robbie, Miss Robbie, Linda, Miss Janice, Dre's mom, all of them. They collectively decided we're going to work together to, steer him right, or, bring him with the family. So they asked him, did he spend time outside of work with Andre? And he goes, yes. We went to Six Flags. I would take him to the movies, Dave and Buster's. We would go out to eat, and I wrote him into the show as much as possible, as much as I could, or whatever. So he was asked, well, did Dre stay after he graduated high school? He goes, no. A decision was made to send Dre back to Texas. But then after 2 months, he was getting in trouble and blah, blah, blah. Hey, Latanya. And so that's when he returned back. So Tim wanted Dre to return. So he reached out. We talked about this previously. He reached out to Michelle, which is Dre's mom, and said that, I want to help him. I want to help teach him how to be a man, basically. And he felt that because the restaurants were doing pretty well at this time, and he had more time to help him, because things were going well at the restaurant. So Attorney Leonard, that's Tim's attorney, he pulls up text messages between Dre and Tim and introduces them into evidence. So he asked him to read a text where Andre was like thanking him for everything, and we talked about this previously. Thank you for everything. You're right. Like acknowledging something that Tim had discussed with him. Friends can't help me become a millionaire. Just like making him look like he was like a saint or whatever. Then they talked about the apartment in Central West End area where Tim got Dre an apartment 2 doors down from him in this supposedly luxurious apartment building. And he also, like we already acknowledged, that he assisted Dre into getting into Nelly's music school. And it was like a 4-year waiting list. And Tim said he pulled strings to get Dre into this school, showing that, I really love my nephew. I looked out for him. I bought food. I gave, I would give him an allowance. He actually, we'll talk about that because he said that he gave him an allowance and stuff. So then they started talking about a text between the instructor who testified and Tim, trying to talk about Dre dropping out of school. And that was objected because we're not supposed to make Dre look bad, right? They didn't say that you couldn't make Tim look good, but they did agree we're not going to make Tim and Dre, we're not going to bring their past into the jury. Hi, Pearlie, welcome. So after they did that objection, there was a sidebar. They do that a lot. And then afterwards, there was evidence of a text from Tim to the instructor, just about saying, like, this particular text was saying, like, about how Tim was about to take uh, Dre in, and he made some comment about, I'm about to birth an 18-year-old know-it-all. Basically just, probably Tim is he thinks, well, he is kind of manipulative. Hey, Maisha, welcome. And so, even in the text message, he stated, hey, Diva. He stated, and my mom doesn't know he's coming. I hope she's happy. Like, so he's making it out. I'm just great. I'm about to make mom happy. I'm about to help my nephew. I'm just a great uncle. I'm just fabulous. So then they asked Tim which car he let Andre drive, and that was objected for some reason. They asked him how many cars he had at the time. They really are loud outside. And he said that he had 7 cars at that apartment alone. 7 cars just at that apartment. So that's not including what he might have at his mom's or wherever. So we know where Miss Robbie's money was going, basically. They asked him about if he gave Dre allowance. This is Tim's attorney trying to paint a picture, right? Did you give Dre allowance? And he says that he gave Dre $100 per day. So that's like $700 a week. Plus he bought clothes for him, bought food for him. He had that apartment or whatever. And he got him a job at the restaurants. So they said, well, how did you learn about Dre stopping or dropping out of school? And that was objected because this attorney is really, we made this agreement, and you keep trying to make Dre paint a picture of Dre that we decided, they decided previously not to put out to the juror. So that was objected. So first he said, then he reworded it. When did you find out Dre dropped out? Objected. How did you learn Dre stopped attending school? Objected. Like, why are you doing this? So they asked him about when he moved to LA, did Dre go? And he said that Dre was left in St. Louis basically while they were working to open the other restaurants. Hey, Legend, what's up, twin? So because Dre's behavior, he was saying that he didn't want, it said not wanting to grow up. Oh, he was saying that the reason that he sent Dre back, or he cut Dre off, because Dre didn't want to grow up. He would go to the restaurant when he felt like it, and so they did allow him to get that out, I guess, that he cut him off financially. And he was asked what Dre's response was to being cut off. And then there was, it was objected, and there was a sidebar. And basically, Drell said, I'm checking to see if he's responding to my text about the deliberations, but he hasn't yet. So, there was a sidebar, and so Bill, as like I said, he's very observant. Thank you, Diva. He basically, Tim was sitting there while they were at the sidebar, just like a blank stare, and he really wasn't looking at anybody at that time. So then when they were done, they said, how did you find out about the break-in? And that was objected. And so then they had to reword it. So what did you do after the break-in? They play these games in court, right? So he said that he got his mom a fence and he around her house, and a security system and a security dog, to protect her. So Tim talked about how Dre disappeared after the burglary. So the burglary came up, but he just said Dre, he disappeared. Then he started talking. They asked him what type of stuff, and and like Bill said, every day there's something new added to what was missing from Miss Robbie's house. So jewelry, furs. Then they said her music masters, which didn't come up previously. Some of Tim's stuff, his music masters, because Tim is a rapper, quote unquote. Hey, Caponia, welcome. Um, some of the scripts that he wrote for the TV show and plays, because he likes to write, and that he was attempting to get those items back. So that's what the whole rationale is about this whole little play that he did, because he wanted to get her stuff back and his stuff back. So he said that Dre was upset with him and Miss Robbie for cutting them off, and that he had heard that Dre pawned a TV and a PlayStation, which I don't know what. I mean, come on, if you got furs and all that stuff, why are you pawning the TV and PlayStation? So that's just personal. That's speculation or his word, right? So he said that he sneaked that part in about the pawn. It was an objection, but he got it out, so the jury probably heard it, because they think that they're slick, they're playing games, right? And it's not a game. This young man's life was snatched. And so he said that at that point, he started watching Dre's social media. And he said people were sending him all how he screenshot, like, look what Dre said, look what Dre did, look what Dre, So he says that this is what was coming to him. And and I don't know why they allowed this question, but his attorney then asked him, did you see the post with the guns? And he said yes. So anyway, they got off Dre for a moment and started talking about YL. YL is the insurance person, right? Who assisted Tim with getting the policy that did go through out of the 5 that he attempted, right? So they asked him when he met YL. He said around 2013. YL was pretty famous in St. Louis because he was Nelly's producer, and he was a very frequent Sweetie Pies customer. Actually, he would come in. Hi, Rena, who's only 21. So he would come in once a week, because you know how soul food restaurants, if you don't know, they usually have a special for each day. And so he would come in once a week for Salisbury steak night. This is what Tim is saying about YL. And he did this for years. So for years, every week, he would come in on Salisbury steak night. So they became friends, because Tim knew about his music career, and Tim had a high interest in the music industry. So at some point, YL music money started to dry up. And so he needed a real job. And that's when he decided to go into insurance sales. And I guess he supposedly didn't have experience in insurance, but because the music career, for whatever reason, was drying up for him. So then he kind of saw Tim, at the restaurant, and he was like, trying to tell him, man, I'm selling insurance. Do you need any for your business or your staff? And Tim said he already had insurance on himself. And so he was like, man, you could have given me the business. And Tim, this is Tim telling the story. So he was like, well, the next time, somebody needs insurance, I'll send them to you. Hey, Gilda. So then, I'm sorry. So then he got insurance on Dre, because he was like, wow, the way Dre, this is Tim telling the story, the way Dre is living, he's involved in this and that and that. He's in the streets. He's posting this stuff on social media, whatever. He said that he decided, man, we probably better get insurance on him because of his lifestyle. So according to Tim, this one policy, because as you're going to see coming up, is that Tim is not agreeing with the fact that he tried to get 5 policies. He is admitting to the one with YL. So he said that Dre YL and him had a meeting to sign the application, so that Dre was actually present, and he also said that they did sign the first policy, and there was no real proof to say that Dre signed it or not, because I guess they don't have enough things. When they do hand handwriting analysis or whatever, usually somebody is there who can write, or they have multiple documents that have been signed by a person. Well, we know, they don't have a lot of stuff that they could use for Dre, and Dre was not there to sign so that they can compare it. So anyway, so that was kind of null and void. He said that he also said when they were at his apartment, when YL wrote the policy with Tim. He said that even TJ was there. So he said TJ was there, and Dre and YL were in the kitchen working on the insurance policy. And he said he was chasing TJ around the house. How convenient. And he said that he came in on like the tail end and was told, to sign the policy so that he could become the owner and not just the beneficiary. And he explains that the reason that they decided to do that way, which I'm still trying to figure out, how did you talk? Well, at this time though, Dre probably thought Tim had his best interest, because he was, he had set him up. He planned this. So he, had a nice apartment. He had access to cars. He was getting allowance, that type of allowance a week, $700. So he claims that the reason that they made Tim, the reason that YL and Tim and Dre decided to make Tim the owner of the insurance policy and the beneficiary is because this type of insurance policy gained value, cash value. With some insurance policies, you can borrow off them and you can draw the money out and all that. And he said he didn't want Dre to know, the cash value of the insurance, because he felt like he would try to cash in on it. So anyway, he has an answer for everything. So they said that he said because Miss Robbie and him, Tim and Miss Robbie, had previously tried to set Dre up with bank accounts, and that didn't go well. So he was trying to say, so I was looking out in his best interest, so that he wouldn't ruin the insurance policy or whatever. So the amount of money that they asked him about, the amount of money in 2016 that he was getting from the restaurants that he was running, because 2016 is the year that Dre was murdered, or don't say that word, but taken out. So he was over the NoHo and the Lindbergh restaurants, and he said that per week from the restaurants, he was getting $60,000 per week from those two restaurants. The Mangrove location at that time had closed, and that it was normal for him to travel like every week or every other week to clear out the safe deposit, the safe boxes or whatever. And he typically would go on a Sunday and Monday, because the restaurant, most soul food restaurants are closed on Mondays, and some are even closed on Tuesdays. So it was the best time for him to travel back and forth. So Sunday and Monday. So they asked him, well, how long it had been since he saw Dre since the burglary. And he, said about what everybody else was saying, that it had been about 9 to 10 months. And this was 9 to 10 months before. Remember, we talked about how Big Ed sent him a photo when Dre came into the restaurant, how he took a photo of Dre and sent it to him. He said it had been like 9 to 10 months since then. And so he was asked if he noticed anything different. And he kind of jokingly, like really, really narcissistic. Yeah, he was a little thicker, a little taller, he sprouted up, from a teenager to, looking like a man or whatever. And the family, Dre's immediate family, kind of like looked at him like that's not true, and this is Dale's perception, because he's very observant. As I said, he looks and pays attention to everybody's reactions. So then after that, there was a break, and when Tim came back, before everybody came in, Vale, this is just another, and it helps because it gives you kind of like a vision of what it kind of looked like in there. He says Tim sat and he took a sip of water. He kind of like motioned across the courtroom to the section where Miss Robbie and Jr. and Big Ed were sitting. He kind of mouthed something to them, but it wasn't like a long conversation. Um, he kind of, drank his water and did like a quick wave, and stared. And then he started just like sitting there staring blankly, kind of looking around the courtroom. And he held up the water. I'm like, that's too detailed. He asked for more water or whatever. So the jury comes back in. So what Tim's attorney was trying to establish is that Tim had nothing to do with getting the insurance applications done. And so they went through each insurance company except the one that was considered to be legitimate, since um, he feels like that one was legit because he's saying Dre was there. So um, yeah, so they went through like each insurance policy and asked some questions about, did he do this, did he do that. And another thing to mention, let me see, something I was just thinking about. Anyway, so it'll come back to me. So then they started talking about when he reached out to Terrica via Facebook Messenger. And of course, we already discovered that her phone number wasn't working. And, he talked about like how they met a long time ago and that they would meet up like every 2 months. And in the beginning, before Sweetie Pies, he would only give her like $250 to $300 when they first met. But once the show kind of got big and popular or whatever, he said that he cut her off because of his image. Because, we're doing this wholesome family show, and I don't want anything to come up that would blemish the image of the family. Yeah, right. So he said he kind of cut her off, and then eventually they started dealing again. I guess once he came way up, and then he started giving her between $700 and $1,000 every time they met. So she was more than a booty call. She was definitely friends with benefits. I mean, she went from $250 to $1,000 per pop. No. So occasionally, he said occasionally Terrica would hit him up, for money, like every 4 to 6 months, she would say, like she randomly, like my phone bill, can you help me with my phone bill, my rent, or whatever. And he would give her like $400 or $500, occasionally, not regularly. So then he was saying that he also he started talking about how she was trying to open a new boutique, which we already talked about, and that she had, and this was a new thing. He said that she had just purchased a building that needed to be renovated or whatever. So I don't know why that was important, but that, we already know that, her claims and his claims were that she was trying to open a business. But he claimed that he only gave her like an extra couple of $1,000 on top of the 1,000. That he didn't necessarily give her 10,000 in a bag or something like she was saying, because she was saying 10,000. He says like 3,000. So whatever. So they got to talking about. They were talking about Terrica and his relationship, and come to find out, he says that she's actually met Miss Robbie, and she was a freak. She would frequent the restaurants. She would come into the restaurants, which is probably why, if you remember on the show, how Janae used to be kind of, she would just act a kind of way, which would be, because so many women were in and out of the restaurant. But anyway, you got strippers coming to the restaurant. No, I'm joking. So he was asked about, did Miss Robbie know that she was a stripper? And he said no, she just thought she was just another one of the girls, that Tim was messing around with. So, or her dad was around. So he was asked how Miss Robbie, he said that the way that this whole ordeal came up about her helping him find Dre was that she asked he says Terrica asked him, "How is Miss Robbie doing? How's your mom doing? Whatever, whatever." And this is why they brought out the fact that she was familiar with Miss Robbie to prove that this was, they want to paint a picture. So he said, "Oh, she's okay, but her house was burglarized. We think it was my nephew." And apparently he supposedly showed her a picture of Dre, and she says, "Oh, I know him and I have his information. He said he was a rapper and he had a lot of money, and Tim was like, "Yeah, he got that from breaking into moms or whatever." So this is him. This is all from Tim. So he goes about his day, to take care of his business or whatever. So he said that he had because he was asked, "Well, why did you um, have Terrica get a burner phone?" He says he had her get a burner phone because he wanted to get back with her after, the 9 or 10 months. He's deciding, okay, I want to get back with you. Even though they just messed around, but I guess they hadn't seen. He said they hadn't seen each other. That's what it was. He said that Terrica and him hadn't seen each other right in the 9 or 10 months until that night when they met up when the incident took place that weekend. He said that he had a live-in girlfriend in Los Angeles. So he didn't want her to get upset and be able to call his girlfriend, whatever, I don't know. But he got her a burner phone so that, because he wanted to be able to hook up with her. That's his reason for getting it. We know that that's not true, allegedly. But he also stated that he had never had Terrica in his real house because he didn't trust her. Yeah. And then after leaving Walgreens, he talked about how Terrica went to the La Quinta, and he said he went to the restaurants to collect the money from the safes and went on about his business. Like he's not thinking about doing anything to his nephew, but he does want to meet up with him to get his mom and his things back. So he knew Terrica went to the La Quinta Inn, where we already established where Dre and his friends were. So he said that he at some point met up with DJ Beats and whatever, but he didn't talk about the money in the bag and all that. They didn't even ask him that at that point. So they asked him, "Are you good with your finances?" And he said yes. And this is important. They asked him, this is his attorney, "Are you good with your finances?" He said yes. Because they're trying to establish that if he's that good with money, he wouldn't leave $5,000 in a hotel. And basically you're gonna say that DJ Beats was lying. And then they asked him, have you ever taken money, like when you pick up the $60,000 from the restaurants, have you ever taken money out, to keep, just to keep from? And he said, "Yeah, I took about $10,000 from each." He would take $10,000 out, that's nothing, out of 60 or whatever. That's what he would say. And they asked him, how did he carry the money around when he would take the money from the safe to, the bank or wherever he would take it. And he said normally in a duffel bag or a book bag. And so he said that when Terrica went to the La Quinta, they asked him, when Terrica went to the La Quinta, "Did you rush over there?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I wasn't pressed. I was handling business, I wasn't pressed. I mean, she had no, said she knew where my nephew was. I knew I was going to talk to him, whatever. So, he also mentions that he was getting information from people that this particular studio where Dre was hanging out or doing music, the place of the incident, that there was some stuff in the basement that possibly came from the burglary or whatever. Okay, so that was objective. So what they were trying to do is, like I said, paint a picture. So then they started talking about the Gibbs and Posse gang. That's the gang where Trivell said Trivell admitted to being one of the gang members of the Gibbs and Posse gang. And it was across the street, apparently, from the Mangrove location. And so he says that Trivell had his own relationship with Dre. So if you remember, if you recall, Trivell was the one doing the I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth. No, Trivell wasn't that one. Trivell was the one who said that he just had a casual relationship with Dre. Where according to Tim, he says that Trivell and Andre used to clean up the restaurants together at Mangrove. They worked together. They grew up as kids together. He said that Trivell was older than um, than Dre, but he mentioned that he mentored and tried to keep them off the streets. So he mentored Trivell as well as Dre, whatever. And he said that he had them doing odd jobs around the restaurant. He would take them on trips together, Dave and Buster's. He was trying to get them out of the neighborhood, and that so he was trying to point the picture that Trivell was lying, that he knew Dre, and they had their own beef. So he even described Trivell as a street kid and Dre as a suburban kid. So just look at this picture he's trying to paint. So he was asked, do you consider yourself to be a mentor to the young men? And Tim breaks into tears. Remember, he is an actor, he is a script writer, and so he starts crying. I wanted to show them, you can make it out here by doing normal things. You can get rich frying chicken, basically. So he, broke out in tears and, was trying to paint that picture. So he said that he wanted to show these young men that because he says the young men around here, the only rich people they knew were drug dealers. So he was setting the tone and establishing their relationship because remember the jury isn't supposed to know anything about any of them. So he said that the reason he was in contact with Trivell was because the burglary and finding Dre. Basically, he wanted to say that they knew each other and they were friends. So the kids around the neighborhood, he says that the reason he reached out to Trivell because he had lost his street credibility. Why he never called Andre himself? Because that would have made him he was trying to paint a picture. He wasn't going to reach out to him on his own. And probably Dre would have blocked him or something. Dre was upset with him because he was trying to say that Dre did the burglary. So, Dre at this point left and wasn't being bothered with apparently none of them because, you would feel some kind of way if somebody accused you of doing something that heinous to your grandmother, especially because, especially when you're getting, the things that they were giving this young man, he wasn't like wanting for anything. I mean, when they disowned him or whatever, because he was lazy and spoiled, but I don't think Miss Robbie would have just left him out in the cold. You say, hi, I'm new to the channel. I can't take Tim's lies. Trivell testified and said he didn't know Dre, and Terrica had to show Trivell a picture of Dre. The tears are all part of his act. Definitely. Yes. He is a clown. That is so true. He is a clown, and it's going to be a lot of angry people if they get like a mistrial or something. We're hoping not. So he said that the kids around the he called them kids, but around the area considered him and Miss Robbie to be snitches because they would call the police if they saw stuff going on. He's really his attorney is allowing him to make himself look like a hero. So he said that he didn't have any more street cred. So that's why he asked Trivell to go to talk to Dre and just ask for the stuff back, and try to make a deal with him. Tell him we'll even pay for it, he can sell it back to us. This is what he said. And he said that Dre respected Trivell. So, but Trivell said something totally different. So, how it is when you're in court. Tim, they started asking him about his flights, like he did his round trip flight from Okay, because we know he went from LA to St. Louis, and then he went back to LA that night. So his attorney was still trying to plant this picture that this is normal. Like Tim would do this. He would go in and out of town, and he had money, so he could do it, whatever. So Tim says that Terrica called him about 8 p.m. And this is him talking about what happened. Hey, Just Nikki, what happened to that night. So she supposedly at around 8 p.m. she called saying, just out the blue, they're shooting, wherever she was, they're shooting, but she never mentioned anything about Andre being shot. So apparently he's painting the picture that he didn't know that she was with Andre at the time. She called and said, I'm over by, such and such area and they're shooting. And he said they were shooting across the park or something. And he told her, to leave from over there. So whoever sent her that text to say move, I guess that was the reason for it. Hey, Loretta, Miss Loretta, Auntie, how are you? Hi, Castle Culture. So anyway, he did acknowledge that he had a missed call from Miss Robbie that night, and he had a layover in Minneapolis. I'm sorry again about the landscape of people out there going. And so he had the layover, and he said he missed a call. But while he was waiting, he got another frantic call from his mom saying, I have to go to the morgue to identify Dre. They're saying that he's gone. And he says that, and he says that he took this call at the airport, and that it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. So he said that he didn't come back. Okay, so he didn't say, well, Mom, I'm on my way back. I'm at the airport. I'm going to see if I can get back or rent a car and drive back or whatever. He didn't do that. He said that since it was so late, he didn't want to drive because it was so late that, so that's why he didn't go. Okay, this is a nephew that you love. First of all, your mom doesn't have any other children. She has her family or whatever, but wouldn't you be trying? I would be trying to get to my mom because at this point I can't do anything for my nephew, but I would be trying to get to her. But no, he said it was by that time 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He was tired. He was trying to get back home, whatever, right? So that's when he texted Big Ed, because remember Big Ed testified that he did get a text to go meet Miss Robbie. So he went to go meet Miss Robbie at the morgue. So he sent Big Ed, and they asked him, well, Tim, why after this incident with Andre, why did you go ghost? Why did you stop reaching out to people and things like that? And he said he was so emotional that he wouldn't talk to anybody but JR and a couple of people that he was very, very close to. So he wasn't answering calls because he was so distraught. I was so hurt and distraught. So that's really, So a couple of days later, he said when he spoke with Trivell, they asked him, well, did he mention anything about Dre's passing? And that was objected. And they reworded it, and he said that Trivell never mentioned it to him. And he had like watery eyes or whatever. He had watery eyes, but for the jurors, the scary part is that if these jurors, in fact, did not know the dynamics of this family, and they're sitting here listening to Tim paint this picture, that's where the scary part comes in. But we'll see. So Terrica's, then they talked about the visit. Remember when, hey, Deborah, welcome. When they said Terrica went to the fashion district in Los Angeles, and Tim took, when they had the cell phones pinging from from the hot and juicy crawfish restaurant. So that was when, they talked about that. And so Terrica's mom was there because it was her birthday. Terrica's daughter was there, which was something that was new. And Tim. And they asked him, why he went there or whatever. He said because his mom really liked the place. So, they wanted to try it. I don't know why that was important. So they asked him, well, did you talk about the incident? And he says, yes, actually at the Hot and Juicy Crawfish, um, he asked her what happened, because, she was in town and then she left that night. And I guess he figured she had heard something. She said that she didn't have any idea that it was that it was Dre when she heard the gunshots. This is Tim telling the story now. He said that he felt that something wasn't right after that. So he felt like Terrica knew more than what she was saying. Come on now. Which she did, but you're eliminating yourself from the whole situation. So what he's trying to do is make it look like Travell and Terrica orchestrated this themselves. So he said that he ghosted Terrica after that because he didn't feel comfortable being around her. So he stopped, dealing with her, stopped responding to her and things like that. So in another part of the testimony, they did say that Terrica did admit that when she would come to St. Louis to work, because remember she worked at the strip club on the weekends, like Thursday through Sunday, I think, and then she would go back home to Texas. So was it Texas? Well, she'll go back home. That he would tell her to get out of town, like not to be there or whatever. So I don't know how he was, maybe the burner phones, but supposedly he was ghosting her. And there was a lot of objections, because they were trying to lead the jury. So there was a lot of objections at that point. So Tim talked about how he had an attorney in every state where there was a restaurant, which is not which is not abnormal because, for slip and falls and lawsuits and things like that. So then they had a lunch break. And when they came back, Vail was saying how Tim was waving, maybe somebody new showed up, because people can show up, throughout the day. And the attorney and his text messages were one of the issues of the payout. Okay, so they started talking about the payout. The attorney started showing the text messages where Tim was trying to, get paid from the claim. And Tim was asking if, this is the attorney that he hired this attorney to try to help him get his money from, or get the money from the insurance company. And so he wasn't, he claims that he wasn't in St. Louis or whatever. So anyway, so this is where they kind of trick him up, because they were like, so oh no, this is still his attorney trying to paint the picture that Tim was innocent. He goes, so you weren't hiding, you wouldn't have asked about checking the cell towers, would you? So in this text message between the attorney and Tim, this wasn't the he was asking his attorney, like, because the attorney said in the text message, the reason you're not getting your money is because you are a suspect. And so Tim says in the text message, well, can't they check the cell towers, to show that I'm not, and still, give me the money because I wasn't in town or whatever. So this is him, trying to cover himself. And the attorney goes, so you weren't hiding, right? You wouldn't have asked about checking the cell towers, right? Really? And so then he was asked if he was concerned for his safety after the incident with Andre, and he said yes. He was scared that something would happen to him. Again, trying to prove that it wasn't him. So they talked about his relationship with DJ Beats, which we already established. DJ Beats was security for him and Miss Robbie. And he said that he would have him hold money for him, $20,000 to $30,000. And he also said that he would give family members money to hold for him. Like it was nothing for him to give them $20,000 just to hold for him, because he didn't trust the banks. Okay. So only like very close friends and family members. He didn't like the safe boxes, and he didn't like banks. So he said that they said, well, why would you, give money out like that to different people? He says, because he felt like if he spread the money out to different people, the money, the risk was lower. So like if one person said they lost the 20,000, then I still got money, right? So it's kind of crazy. But anyway, they talked about the text that we talked about earlier about Charles sending him a text asking him for $1,300 to get his car from being booted. And remember, Tim had stated that he was losing his apartment, he was being evicted, and that he didn't have money. He owed this, he owed that. He said that he lied to Charles about the eviction and about not having the money because he said he lied because Charles always would be asking for money. So that part is not that unbelievable. But you said he did not have a jury of his peers. No, he did not. So that's interesting too. But the thing is, they probably had to get a jury of the way that it is set up because these are supposedly individuals who have no knowledge of the Sweetie Pies dynamics about the family. Like like me, I was a super fan. So, to find somebody in that area who lives in that area who are not familiar with the family, that's what I'm thinking. That's why the jury consisted of who it did. And so no, it's not his peers because there's no black people. There's, like I said, two people who are not Caucasian. So so he said that he lied to Charles, and according to Vale, he says that because he's paying attention to Charles, because Charles is sitting in court when Tim says this. He said that Charles is like looking straight ahead, like a death stare, and Charles got up and walked out and caught Tim's eye, like, and if you know Vale, you know he was paying attention. So Charles got up, out, and walked out. And then there was a sidebar, and during the sidebar, Tim shakes his head at the Montgomery family, like, they're really they're lying on me. They're trying, like for sympathy, for pity. So then they talked about the text message that Tim and YL, the text texting between the two of them. YL again is the insurance person who helped him get the one policy that did go through or whatever. And on the text messages, Tim is saying, I haven't seen that N word in a week. And they were like, well, why did you say that? He goes, because I hadn't seen him, and then they talked about policies, and he was like, does the N word have to sign? I mean, the way he talked, just like when DJ Beats, which is his friend, said, the security guard said when he gave him condolences, Tim said, F that N word. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow, this guy he is a whole character. So he was asking, did he have to sign? And so this is the thing. Tim was portraying, and his attorney was trying to portray that Tim had no understanding of insurance lingo or nothing. He didn't know anything about insurance policies, and things like that. And they also asked him why he texted that he might not make it 6 months, because when he was talking to the insurance guy, I guess they were saying something about how long the policy had to be in. Normally it's like 2 years, but I don't know. In this case, I don't know. But he said he may not make it 6 months. And they were like, well, why did you say that? And he said because of his lifestyle and because of, what he was doing on social media, which shouldn't have been brought up. But if you notice, Tim and his attorney were not really holding up their end of the deal, because although something can be objected, you have to, as a human being a juror, you still hear what they were trying to say. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You said he did have a jury of his peer. That jury reflects that county. Oh, okay. A jury of your peers not. So, you know what? That's true. And I'm thinking about where the restaurants are located. So I'm not thinking about where he lived. And you're right. He lived in an influential area, right? So you're right. That county probably was a jury of his peers. When we think about Sweetie Pies, we think about Mangrove, So yeah, you're right. You're a great observation. That is true. So um so yeah, so they didn't really stick to the agreement between the attorneys. Like they agreed that we would not bring up Tim's history of being in jail and his rages and things like that, and him pulling guns on people, him being accused of stalking Jennifer and things like that. And we don't, and as long as you agree not to bring up Dre being on social media with guns or being into rap and all that. So they kept trying to be slick, because he was saying the reason that he said he won't make it 6 months is because of the weapons he had on social media, and of course all of that stuff was objected because he was trying to associate Dre with gang activity. So um, they went through each document because he was charged with I think it was called fraud or something. So with wire fraud or something, because the documents, were not legitimate. So they went through each document, and because remember, Tim's social security number was incorrect on one, and some of the there was some things that didn't add up, like as far as the age or the height and weight of Dre and things like that. So in this case, what they're trying to do is they're trying to point the picture that they're trying to blame YL, the attorney, I'm sorry, the insurance guy, for the inconsistencies and the errors, and they're trying to take it off Tim, like YL was trying to make money and he did the policy without Tim. This is what they're trying to paint. And because YL, they had the fact that he wasn't an experienced insurance agent. He was new to insurance. He was a music producer and things like that. So they might. I'm thinking, how they have different charges. If anything, he might get off on that wire fraud charge because he just might. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully not. So they asked him questions like, did you complete this policy? Mind you, there were 5 of them. He goes, no. Did you sign this? No. Did you submit this on the computer? No. So he only admitted to the one where he claims Andre signed, and they were at his apartment with TJ, remember? So Drake isn't there to say whether or not he signed, and they didn't prove like the signature, as I mentioned before. So yeah, so then after that, there was another sidebar, a lot of sidebars, a lot of them. And so he drank some water, he sighed, and this is all from Vale's perspective. He glanced at the jury, which he normally didn't do, a couple times, and then he stared at the floor. So he probably, but being a narcissist, he probably was thinking, oh yeah, I got this. He's probably thinking that. And so when they went through each policy, Vale said it was very draining because they went through each policy in detail and blah, blah, blah. So at this point, because it was so daunting, Vale said that Monique slumped down. He noticed her head went back. Charles kind of slumped over. J.I. was chewing gum, which you're not supposed to do in court. He just saw them like restless, like this is just taking too long. And says that JR, who is, if you remember JR from the show, he was like a jokester. Seems like he was trying to get eye contact with Tim, but I mean, of course, it was the wrong place and time. But so then they did the cross examination, and we're getting toward the end. The cross examination is when the government comes. Remember yesterday when I said that they didn't do any cross examinations with the people because they probably felt like it wasn't worth it, and they didn't have to worry about it. They presented a 5-page document. And so, and it was, and they didn't even spend a whole lot of time on Tim before they rested. They basically said these questions. They said, so you had insurance on yourself, right? And he goes, yes. Which that's not abnormal. You got insurance on yourself. You have Prudential, right? Yes. And so they said, this is exhibit, blah, blah, blah. So that means they presented it as evidence. And they said, everything you wrote, is it true on this policy? He goes, yes. Well, on page 5, so remember, the agreement between the two attorneys, right? Where they're not gonna put out their, like what they, the history. So they didn't, because now they're talking about the insurance policies. They're not talking about his character, right? So the government or the federal attorney says everything you wrote is true, right? He says yes. So they say, well, here on page 5, it says, have you ever been convicted? You answered no. Is that true? Bam. that was like, right? So they were like, and so even though they made that agreement, hey, we're talking about insurance policies. So he had said no with the policies, and this was allowed because, hey, it's not he they're hanging him now, right? Trying to anyway. They said, so you said, so they proved that part, that you are a liar and you lied on a legal document. You said you are really good with your finances, right? He goes, yes. They pull out another evidence. Is it true that you had a judgment filed against you for $215,821 with American Express? Bam. Another thing. You liar. You're a liar, right? So this is the thing. If he had not testified, which most defendants don't do, uh, if he had not testified, guess what? This wouldn't even be known, right? They would not have even known that he had been in jail because of the agreement. But see, that's what happens when him and his attorney and him were trying to drag Dre, right, on the low, and the government's sitting back, because baby, the government does not play. They don't, and they're sitting back like, okay, whatever. They get up and quit. They didn't even waste time. This attorney drew out everything with this, trying to paint this picture, but they had facts, and facts should outweigh, all that false stuff or negative, or portrayal of things. So if he hadn't testified, he probably would have been a little better off. So then there was a question on the policy that asked about. Remember, we talked about how one of the policy required that Dre be have an examination, and so on the policy, um, they said Dre went to the clinic for the exam, and you said you knew that YL lied on the application, that Dre didn't go, right? He goes, yes, because at this point he's trying to say YL falsified it. Dre didn't go to the clinic or the examination, whatever. Usually they come to the house. But anyway, he said he knew he didn't go to, they actually named the clinic. So I forget the name of it. But anyway, and so they go, well, on the affidavit, because the affidavit you signed, you said that he did go to the clinic. Like, bam, another lie. So now the jury knows you are a liar and that you went to prison. So they also asked him, you had burner phones since you worked on the show? And he goes, yes. And they said, well, since we understand that the producer says that it was not uncommon for those of you on the show to have burner phones, but Terrica was never on the show, was she? No. Well, why did you get her a burner phone? But then he did say that each of his women had a different cell phone that, that's how they contacted him. So because he had a live-in girlfriend. So anyway, so that was like a slam dunk from the government. They were straightforward with the cross. They didn't do any extra schematics. It was apparently less than 10 minutes, but epic, because they just proved their point. They don't have time. They're like the judge, like, I don't have time for all this. Let's get this done. So basically the defense today, and like I said, I'm waiting for a text message to see if it is true that the jury is deliberating. Let me see. Did he respond? He hasn't responded yet, but I have seen that in the YouTube street, so I want to make sure that it is correct before I say it, because I know he's there. But the defense closed today, and today they're supposed to do like 30 minutes. Hey, Doris. Uh, it was supposed to be 30 minutes of jury instructions. You know how the judge has to read all this stuff that nobody's probably the jury either are probably even listening to. And then he was gonna allow each attorney 45 minutes apiece to do their closing arguments. And actually, you said 95%, the traveling Tootie. Hey, traveling Tootie, welcome. 95% conviction rate. Wow. And so actually, yesterday, before they adjourned, the government asked, can we do it today? After they did their slam dunk, they were like, can we just do this today and get this over with? But the judge said no, because of the fact that he had to do the 30 minutes jury instructions, 45 a piece, and it was like 3 o'clock at that point. So yeah, so he was like, no, we'll resume tomorrow at 8:45. So basically, that was so basically, as that was it for the day. But we did talk about how he tried to fire I feel like he tried to put this thing up like he was trying to fire his attorney. First of all, he's dramatic. So you're going to fire your attorney on the day of the last day of, trial almost. And I think, like I said, that was setting the stage for him to have an appeal, because then he could say, well, I wasn't given a fair trial. So he's not dumb. He's just stupid, right? The defense is trying to say that also that everybody who took a plea, like Terrica, YL, Tribal, they all took a plea. So his defense attorneys, they're going to come back if he does get convicted with an appeal, because they're trying to say that they're all lying because they were given a plea and promised something, and he's trying to say that they all did this on their own. But my thing is, why would they want to do that to Dre? But he's trying to point the picture that they're working with the insurance guy or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So it's a lot of questions. But he was trying to say that he still loved him and that he was concerned about him. So yeah. So that's it for today. Anybody? Let's see what the questions are, and then let's see. I see some questions. Yay! I see some questions. It says, no more drama. You're gonna go back. Okay. Let's see. Question. Okay. Let's see. The system is very prejudiced, but whatever. I digress. Yes, it is. It can be. It can be, and that's it can be. That's a whole ethic conversation. And that's something that, we could discuss that all night about the system. And the feds have a 95% conviction rate. Judging our criminal justice system, they love to let the murderers go. I'm afraid he will get off. You know what? A lot of people in the comments, when Bill was talking about this last night, were saying that too, and that would be, I don't know, that would break my heart. And he, he's not even a relative of mine, but I would be so hurt, almost as bad as when Trayvon. Oh my God, when that guy that bothered me. I was crying. I was upset. You would have thought that he was my child. You say no. This stuff is very damning. Mashara Lawson said deliberation already. Dang, doesn't sound like they have a lot of evidence against them though. Actually, the text messages, the insurance policy. And Mashara, what's really going to be, and I'm quite sure the jury is taking that into consideration. The three of the people who were involved, I'll put it that way, because I think there were more people involved, but they have already pled guilty, and they're going to be sentenced. Somebody's sentencing is the end of this month. Someone is being sentenced in October, and then someone is being sentenced in November. So that doesn't look good for him as far as evidence goes, because these three people are saying that you were the one who orchestrated this. Um, Retired law in his service, God is welcome. Welcome in his service. So you know what are your thoughts on this? Being that you are retired law, at Tasha Young, I am so afraid too. I hope and pray Dre's and family gets the justice they deserve. I do too. As his mom, his siblings, I can't even tell. And it's amazing how. That's why I wonder how people can be so evil and low down, like even on these YouTube streets, because these people aren't even related to us, and it's like I guess if you have a heart, right? The texts were too compelling. Yes, that's true in his service. No more drama. Hey, swag and chat. I gotta watch replay. Yes, go back and watch it. In his service, they will get justice, but there will be an appeal. Definitely, definitely. Miss Robbie talking about it was someone Andre knew because he got a phone call, said it all. Yeah, and you say you a lie. You got the perfect name for that comment. That's true. And I'm wondering how does she feel? And I was wondering why they didn't bring the text message that he sent to Miss Robbie saying that Dre sent to Miss Robbie saying that Tim was after him. That kind of puzzled me too. Like if that why didn't they bring that out? Because that would have been dead on. I keep trying to see if he responds. Did you hear about the new law in Illinois from Paris Million? I live in Illinois. I live in Illinois too, cancel culture not, but I don't watch the news. I don't read the newspaper, so it totally flew over my head. My husband was trying to my daughter and my husband were telling me something, but I've been trying to find it and I can't find it because I heard somebody saying something about them releasing people from prison early or something. But my niece was saying that she heard that they were not going to arrest people for certain types of crimes, like if somebody's at your house and you're into something. She was saying I got to read more into it because I said, well, that means a lot of more people going to be getting shot. And my daughter was like, "Mommy, you should open a funeral home." I'm like, yeah, because these people are going to start. They can't make it too lax, but I got to find out more about it, about that Illinois thing canceled. I'm gonna see if I can. If I find something about it, I may do a live about it and discuss it because that's not going to work. Not in Illinois, not in Chicago. Well, especially in Chicago. Like Casey Anthony's mom, you were like, oh, Casey Anthony's mom. Yeah, now did she get off? I remember that story. I remember a lot of people being upset how all their stories line up, but his. Right, Mika? Everybody, all three of them had the same stories, but his was different. Every time you turn on the news, somebody's getting killed or something, child being hurt. I'm just tired of hearing and reading about it. Right, canceled. I used to watch the news every day, and I kind of backed off. Even like on Facebook, if you notice, if you're ever on Facebook, it's like every time you open it up, something you would see recipes, recipes. I'm like, you don't see that on YouTube, but YouTube has its own demons. But yeah, and especially in Chicago, oh my goodness, it's like I'm like, come on, this is like not even every day, every other hour maybe. There's something going on in Chicago. Um, Tasha Young says at Tiani, Yvonne, they won't. I can feel it. Illinois just signed a purge law. Our justice system does not exist. That's what it is, Tasha Young. I need to know more about that purge law. If anybody wants to come up, I can drop the link because I'm still confused about it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I live in Illinois. Uh, Tim and his BBL didn't love Andre. Raven, no, they didn't. But the BBL, are you talking about Terrica? Um, Cancel. First, let me drop this link just in case, because I want to know about that whole purge law that I keep hearing people talk about because I am an Illinoisian and I just dropped the link. Um, Let me see, where did I stop? Um, let's see. Miss Robbie. I know Miss Robbie paid all that money for this because the attorneys that Tim have, they say that he has a reputation of winning cases. I don't know. This case was kind of. If he does this one, baby, he's gonna be a bad man. He's gonna get right. He's gonna. I don't know, cause like OJ, almost. I'm telling my age, but yeah, he's gonna be considered top notch. Um, let's see, where did I stop? The texts were compelling. Hey, swag and chat. Okay, I saw that. Miss Robbie. Okay, let's see. Okay, okay. She know who robbed her house, and for her to treat Andre like that, though the text messages was hard through the text messages were horrible. Right, canceled. I know, and I think deep down inside, I think Miss Robbie knows. I think she knows that Tim broke into her house. You know your kids. You may not want to. It's just like your man. You may not want to, but you know. Um, Tasha Young says in his service, God is you see new purge law. Oh yeah, right. Somebody tell me about that. Um, Sherry's agreeing with canceled. Cancel said it was something about her that I didn't like. I'm not even going to lie. So I did not watch the show like that. I tried it. I tried. It's just a vibe that I got from her and her son. Now I always got some type of vibe from Tim, but I just threw it up to him being a little off. So I felt like he was just off a little. I mean, with those childbearing hips, I thought he was just like a little slow, right? Rode the slow bus or something. Because even when Jennifer said that he was stalking her, low key, I didn't believe her, and that was because I didn't care for Jennifer. But yeah, that's what I. Let's see. Um, after 20 years, yes, I do in. Oh, okay. So you worked in law for 20 years. If Tim didn't have anything to do with Dre, Miss Robbie wasted her bread. Yes, baby. And a lot of the restaurants are no longer open because, from what I'm told, the one in Jackson, Mississippi, only opens Thursday through. Oh, wait, I got an update. Let's see. He just texted. Let's see what he says. Closing arguments were completed before lunch and it was deep. Oh, okay, so that's all you said, dude. Come on now. He's going to give us some more. So, yeah, so we'll find out what happened in the closing arguments. Um, but he didn't answer my question. I asked you a question. Okay, so let's see. If Tim didn't have anything, oh, Diva the boss says justice, right? We want justice for Dre. Justice for Dre. If Tim didn't have anything to do with Dre's passing, why did Terrica call him right afterwards? Exactly. He's trying to say that Terrica called him just to let him know that where she was, they were shooting. Okay, in the area, that's like me being in Chicago, and I'm gonna call somebody and say they're shooting over here. Okay, and and go to the next block. They might be shooting over there too. Okay, great commentary. Thank you. Work a lot. Work a lot. I like these names. Canceled this boy from the moment he moved with them was nothing but a money grab. Nobody should be having life insurance on that young man but his mother. And that now see with the store being an owner of a restaurant, I could see them having some type of and they said that this was brought out in court. Bill did mention that. He said that it was brought out that it was not abnormal to have it on employees because, which I've never heard this, But because if something were to happen to the employee, it could be a loss to the company because whatever. But yeah, but his mom had a policy on him and so did Miss Robbie, but that wasn't looked at in favorable, probably because they did it the right way. But Tim having a policy, and then Tim supposedly had a policy. Where did I see that? Why didn't I talk about that? He has a policy. He had a policy on like five different people, or more at the restaurant. He had a policy on Miss Robbie. He had one on Charles, um, and let me see. I wrote that down. I forgot about that. But yeah, he had a policy on quite a few people actually. Um, Let me see. He had one on Charles, Miss Robbie, himself, of course. And it seemed like his aunts and probably some of those workers in that restaurant, Tim probably was planning on knocking everybody off if he would have gotten away with it. So Miss Robbie better be happy that because if a person like that, they don't care about their mom. He can't care about his mom. Um, but yeah, you're right. Yes, because this Chicago lawyer, top attorney, that 2 million gone there. You said Chicago lawyer, top attorney, 2 million gone there. What do you mean by that in his service? I dropped the link if anybody wants to come up. Um, Justice for Dre, yes, Diva. The lawyer just presents his arguments even if he lies. Yes. That's what they're taught to do. If you are a defense, oh wait, let's see what he just texted something else. Let's see. He said this morning started with Judge Ross reading the jury instructions for 30 minutes. Oh, we knew that. And then the attorney conducting closing arguments with each. The jury is deliberating right now. Okay, so the jury is in deliberations, you guys. So we don't know if they're coming back today, tomorrow, or Friday, but we'll see. But they are in deliberations as we speak. Hi Swag and Chat. Hey Lisa, how are you, Lisa? Tiani says the Trayvon verdict made me so upset I was crying too. Tiani, I remember it like it was yesterday. I think I was out doing something else in the streets, at store, whatever, and I remember hearing that, and it broke my heart so bad about Trayvon. It broke my heart because it was so unnecessary. You say, I hope this young man has justice. It's very clear that his own uncle put a hit out on him. It made me think that he had anything to do with his brother's death. You know what? He was 15 when his brother was murdered and stabbed, supposedly in a gang fight. But hey, 15-year-olds, hey, especially this Tim has a problem. He's more than a narcissist. He is something else. Something else is going on with Tim. Tim was going to murk Jennifer from basketball. Wow. You lie. You probably telling the truth because yes, Jennifer, she escaped one. And you know who else? Janae escaped one because I'm quite sure he probably had a fake policy in her name too. Um, Keep the faith. God got Andre and his vindication. Tim, may God have mercy on his soul. And that's the only person who can have mercy on his soul in his service is God. Hi, beautiful Diva the boss. But those were not federal cases. Federal cases have a high rate of the charges sticking. The one charge that may get discharged is the insurance fraud charge, simply because Tim's information was wrong also. Right, Traveling Tootie, and that's what I said. If he does get off a charge, it would more than likely be the insurance fraud charge because of the inconsistencies and because I guess there's really no way to say whether or not Dre signed, and then they were trying to get what's his name, Wabell, they were trying to get him, the insurance guy, to come and testify, but they didn't serve him in time, they didn't subpoena him in time, and they can't find him. I mean, he's already, he's like, I don't care. But let's see. Mashara says, man, I hope they get him. It's just heartbreaking. I watched the show and really felt I knew the family. Dre seemed like he was such a sweet young man. Such a shame. I know. And do you remember, Mashara, when Dre graduated, when he got his high school diploma? He was so excited. I mean, yes, it's so sad. I feel so bad. No cash bond. Right. No, no. The insurance agent turned state's evidence or cop the plea deal in his service guy. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Everybody, Terrica, Travel, and the insurance agent, they all took a plea. And they all said Tim, they all pointed the finger at Tim. So it would be, I just can't see him not, I can't see him getting off. So I'm quite sure there will be an appeal, but I can't see. They would have to find a technicality. That's what I'm thinking to get him off. Please hit the like button. Please, if you haven't already, thank you, Diva. And if you have the capability, please share this live. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. He just texted again. Let's see. Let's see. He says family, friends, and social media are still on site, waiting to see if the jury will come back with a decision before the end of business today. Only time will tell how long the verdict will take. Nevertheless, of course, I will break it down. Okay, so tonight we'll get the breakdown. Okay, it says, Anderson Renee says, I really feel Tim big evil self did it and probably killed his dad and uncle too. Anderson, he couldn't have killed his dad. His mom was pregnant with him when his dad was killed. His mom was about 6 months pregnant, and his dad, they're saying his dad was married. Miss Robbie was, dealing with him, and his dad murdered someone allegedly, and he was retaliated and murdered. Retaliated, in retaliation. She said he killed his dad. That boy, he probably look that demon. He may have that. Welcome everybody coming in. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you, Sherry. In his service, God is never for murder, no bond. Oh, okay, so for murder, there's never a bond. I didn't know that, but that makes sense though. Canceled culture says nobody should be blaming Miss Robbie for doing what most mothers are going to do anyways. I also believe that Tim's mother is scared of him. Now, you know what, Counsel? Miss Robbie, she always appeared to be a very strong woman, but she could have had some fear. And if not before, she may now. I mean, come on, a mother's intuition, I don't know, but you don't want to believe that about your kid. And you know what? That's another topic. I'm writing these things down because this is stuff that needs to be talked about. And I'm willing to talk about it because that has been a topic. As a mother, would you turn your child in? Because there are some mothers who would. There are some mothers who would. And what was that other topic that I said? I can't remember it. I'll go back and find it. Charles Nelson says that Tim is going down either way. He's the connection to all the people in the case. Plus, they all pled guilty. So that alone puts him in the hot seat. He's done, and an appeal that takes years. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yes, Casey. Oh, yeah, Casey Anthony's mom got off, and that's why there was so much uproar about that, right? And I wonder why I gotta go back and see why did she get off? Tim was dumb enough to take the stand. All bets are off. Exactly. And they tried to talk him out of it. And I think that's why his attorney was telling him, not to do it. But Tim being a narcissist, you think you know everything, and you think that you feel like you can tell, you can control the narrative, and that's what he thought. Okay, and in his service says no, if it overwhelmingly indicates a murder occurred, you tell your son, no matter how old, it was wrong. Then you have to live with it the rest of your life. That's true, because I have heard of a case where, and out here in Illinois, where a mother, okay, It was a friend of mine. It was her nephew who was shot by this guy, and in the complex where they lived, and the mother hid the son, and both of them are in prison. The mother and the son because she hid him. So yeah, you got to be careful with that. That's a tough call because yeah. Um, Charles Nelson. Oh, D Brown said hi, Queen. Hi, D. Charles Nelson says they are letting people out for non-violent cases like drugs, not murder. Okay, Charles, that makes me feel better. I don't care. I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't care, but as long as they're not letting people out who have committed murder, they should, and violent crimes like that. And that's what the narrative was that I was getting from people. But I'm gonna look for purge law in Illinois. I think I saw it in California. I saw it somewhere else. I can't remember. I saw an article, but I didn't read it. Mrs. Parker says that was brought into the court hearing as well as it being said that Robbie told Dre's mother she felt Tim did it. Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. So Robbie, I wonder why they had. Well, maybe that's why Robbie didn't testify. I heard something about why she didn't testify. I'm trying to think. Because Robbie initially was supposed to testify on the defense. So maybe that's why she didn't testify. Because Robbie, I believe if Robbie had testified, Miss Robbie, I don't feel right calling her just Robbie, but if she had testified, I believe that it probably would have really been a slam dunk, especially had they brought up that they had to have brought up that text message. And I asked Real that, but he gets so many questions that he may not have seen it. Um, okay. Canceled says WhatsApp app was what he needed on his phone. They didn't have to buy a burner phone. That just made them look more guilty. They're traceable now. Right. And I said that in one of my previous videos. If you go back, when they had the specialist, the FBI analyst on, he was saying that burner phones are also traceable. I mean, the only thing they can't determine is they can't determine that even with regular cell phones. Like if I left my cell phone at my sister's house and somebody came by and they had my phone and they're tracking them, it doesn't mean it was me. But you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but they are saying that those burner phones, they definitely said that they tracked when he activated the phone and the vicinity he was in, where the phone was tracked and all of that. So yeah, you're right. So WhatsApp app, what does that do? That makes it where they can't trace that? Because I thought they can trace anything you're doing with this technology. Don't look. Yeah, it's crazy. But they did say if you turn the phone off, it's not traceable. I plan to leave Illinois, Mrs. Parker. You're going to leave us, Mrs. Parker, within the next 2 years. The situation with Chicago is going to go nuts. Chicago is already gone nuts. And I'm thinking about it as well, Mrs. Parker. I have a 93-year-old grandmother that's keeping me here because our kids are all adults. But I'm planning on doing maybe an early retirement from teaching in about 3 years. And if I do, yeah, I was looking at leaving Illinois as well. I did leave Chicago and move to the suburbs, but I'm still still in Chicago. It's Chicago. It's still, and yeah, I feel you on that though. It's so sad because it's such a beautiful city. Chicago is a beautiful city, but it just has a sting on it. Like you have to know which areas to go in and not. But now you can't even go downtown. And then like that guy who shot, and it's not always us. So let's not get it twisted. You hear mostly about us about oh wait. He sent the text saying the jury has a question going into the courtroom. Wow, let's see what the question is. But you hear about Pookie and them all the time, but like this thing in Hyde Park, not in Hyde Park, in Highland Park, that's a very influential neighborhood where they had the shooting on the St. Patrick. What holiday was that? They were doing a parade, and they had the shooting. Um, it wasn't . So it's like crazy people everywhere though. But yeah. In his service, God is. They now don't have holding capacity. Yeah. So lesser crimes they let go. Oh no, this one won't be one of them. Will be appealed to prolong Tim's freedom from behind bars. Um, but he's not going to go home. Even if they find him guilty, he's going to jail, right? I don't see him going home. I wouldn't want him to go home. Sherry is given legs and hips and body. What is Raven? I missed something. They said that he's lost a lot of weight. He doesn't have those childbearing hips as much as he did. Um, Mrs. Parker says Robbie told the family she's been known. She's been known. Oh wow. Well, yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said. I said that she has to have. And Raven, his hips wouldn't look so big if he wasn't knock me. Traveling. This is riding Tim. We riding Tim big old head. Regardless, that's her son. She been told the family Tim had a hand in this. Yeah, that's true. And I'm just like, man, if he would have done that, we heard about Dre. What if he would have done that to Charles? Oh my goodness. That is so scary. Mika says that Tim wrote his script, so why he testified, that's why he testified, so his story can line up with the other stories. Exactly. That's what I said. He's an actor, and from what I hear, he's a great writer. So yeah, he probably sat in his cell and wrote that script. If they go in and check, they probably find the notebook paper. He definitely wrote it. Charles Nelson says, when the feds come in, forget about it. Chances are slim to none. But I want to know why kill Andre. That's crazy. It's a lot of other things he could have done to get money. Shaking my head. That is so true. And especially your brother's son. That shows that something was wrong with him, Charles. I thought about that too. Like, why would you choose Charles? I mean, why would you choose your nephew, Andre, or any of your family members for that? I mean, there's so much crooked stuff. You're right that you could do. I mean, you own restaurants. You had 7 cars. Uh, you had money here, there, and there with everybody. You're giving strippers $1,000 for something that you could get for free. Especially you had a live-in girlfriend. Come on now. Yeah, you're right. That was just low that for. But his policy was $450,000. But if you're making $60,000 a week from one restaurant, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't add up. It's greed, and then he was wasting a lot of Mrs. Robbie's money too. Raven says, "Oh my God, the way I just screamed at Traveling Tootie." In his service, God is says situation here. Oh, Lori lightheaded promised to hire more enforcement. She didn't. Oh yeah, I'm the mayor of Chicago. Yeah, she won't be reelected. I doubt it. Too many people are disappointed with how she's handled things. But Chicago is a tough city to be a mayor of, and definitely the police department has a tough job because of the crime, and then there are some good police officers, but then we also have had some not so good ones, and it's just so much going on in Chicago. It's like they need someone really strong, and I don't even know if that person exists to come and manage Chicago. um Tian Tiani says, yes, we know our kids and our men. I know that's right, Tian. Right, nobody has to tell you. Please hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Please share this live and please subscribe. Thank you. Cancel says, Miss Parker, yes indeed. They they went buck wild. I live in the south suburbs, but I'm just tired of looking on the news hearing about somebody getting killed. I agree. I agree, Cancel. And like you said, like we try to move away from Chicago, but we have family and actually Pookie and them. Some of them, they're our relatives. You know what I'm saying? But it's just sad. Perry says that Miss Robbie knows Tim loves money. She had to sue him. That's right. Miss Robbie sued him. If you did your own mom dirty, you would do anything. And that is so true, Perry. Because that happened. She did. She had to sue him herself because he was messing over her money, blowing through her money. But see, Miss Robbie, although she's 83, she's she's not she's very alert and astute. And I don't know. I just probably would have gotten somebody. She did try to get somebody else in there to do be the management, but Tim always handling the money, and he has a problem. That's crazy. So Mrs. Parker said, now let's see if Robbie ends up in court about her lies regarding the amount of the theft. That's another thing. That thing went from 200,000 to 1 million. About when they kept asking questions about what was missing from the home. That thing went crazy. I'm like, okay, was it 200,000 or was it a 1 million? Tiani said, I love the show because of Dre and Charles. Those two together, they were hilarious. I love them too. Council said, I hope not. Mrs. Parker said, canceled exactly. Wendy Jones, hi y'all. I wanted to watch this trial. Yeah, I wish they had televised it. I wish they had. I guess they weren't as well. They didn't televise R. Kelly's either, so maybe they're trying to stop doing that. I guess it has to be a certain level. I had a feeling it was going to happen, and it's weird. Really, Council, you had a feeling that what was going to happen? Mrs. Parker said, Vale be on it. Yes, Mrs. Parker, baby. Vale, I love Vale. And he's from Chicago. I said, yeah, he acts like he's from Chicago. I'd be like, yes, he is on it, baby. He watches every move, every reaction, every smirk. The man, he even told us what color toenail polish Miss Robbie had on yesterday. He said that woman was shy. He said she had pink toenails. Worthy to be says she's a hustler and she only dealt with hustlers. Miss Robbie ain't who she is on TV Family. And you know what, Worthy to be, I kind of heard something about that, especially with the relationship she had with Tim's dad. And, she was married. I mean, he was married. And then the fact that she was with Ike and Tina, and we all know Ike was a hot mess. Tiani Yvonne says, Jennifer and Janae both say Tim is crazy. We saw Tim have so many tantrums on the show. He broke his cell phone when Janae wouldn't let him in her house. Right, after he had been out with all these different women. And then she said no, and he wouldn't let her in. And when they asked different people that they interviewed, they asked them if you've ever seen Tim have an outburst, and they were like, no. I'm like, they must have missed that show, because when Tim attacked Dre and Charles and they ran to Miss Robbie's house upset and crying, right? So yeah, he does have tantrums, and he sure did do that with Janae. He broke the cell phone. And the ironic part is that I kind of was leaning more towards Tim at one point. Like Janae I was like, there's something about her that I didn't like, but Janae wasn't putting up with that, and that's what's up. I'm proud of her. You a lie says, if Miss Robbie does win that Grammy, she might get Chris Rock on the stage for being grimy. They better not slap Miss Robbie. Sherry's welcoming Wendy. Hey, welcome, Wendy. Wendy Jones says, thanks. Tiani says, Jennifer had to file a restraining order on Tim, too. Exactly, she did. And at that time, I was like, he didn't do anything to Jennifer. Even though Tim was a little off. Like I said, I thought he was more off the slow bus. I didn't know he was just this kind of like crazy. Sherry says, please like and share, subscribe. Thank you. Cancel Culture Not says, I heard about that a few years ago. He always presented himself as a good guy, but I saw right through him and couldn't watch the show. Oh, okay. You saw that. Yeah. Because just like when they got the award, for the business award, they were with Nelly or something on one of the shows. Mrs. Parker said, agree to disagree. That's all we can do, Mrs. Parker. That's all we can do. In his service says, we are addressing Chicago violence issues, why they are, the things Lori lightheaded. You guys, if you don't know, the mayor's name is played with. The last name is always played with. She screwed this up. You say the things she won't be mayor one term. Yeah, I believe that in his service. I've heard people say that. I don't get to vote in Chicago, uh, but because obviously I don't live in the city, but I have heard that she won't be reelected. That's what they're saying. They're trying to get what's his name? Shoot, you guys know who I'm talking about. The young man. He's trying to run for mayor. Um, Thank you, cancel culture. He says, please thumbs the live. Please like the live. In his service guide is says Lakeshore Drive now a drag strip, always the money. Yeah, Lakeshore Drive. Oh, Lakeshore Drive is it's interesting to drive on there because it's a little not safe sometimes. Best guess guilty in his service guide. Yeah, I can't wait to see what question he's gonna text back and say what question they had. The jury has a question, so we're gonna see what that is because drill. He's right up in there in their face. Um. Oh, you said Lakeshore Drive is the killer zone. A lot of people died on that stretch of the street. Yes, because it's really like the way it curves and the speed and all that. D Brown said, I always had a feeling something was not right with him. Yes, D Brown. Yeah. I always blamed it on him being off the slow bus. Mrs. Parker said, just got word that Chronicle Speaks, JSO Extra, and Vale all attended today's hearings. Yeah. Vale's been there every day. He comes home on the weekends and he's been there every day. Oh, Tim's lawyer is from Chicago, really? So right, because he has the lawyer that R. Kelly had, and I think R. Kelly fired him or something. They were saying, yeah, that's right. I did hear that. I saw a picture of his attorney too. Dale showed it on his page last night. Um, Council says that D girl I did too, and the mother. I never felt that about Miss Robbie. I love Miss Robbie. I mean, and people were like, oh, I'm not going to the restaurant and all that, but I mean, what he's a blessing and a curse, as Bill said, for that family. He wrote that script, he got them on the TV show, but then now he's destroying, the image of the family, and that's bad because I mean I like Miss Robbie. She's 83-year-old Spice, you know what I'm saying? If Dre was there to sign that policy, he would have divided the money with Tim and his mama. Traveling to you, bingo, I believe that. I can't see him not saying, well, can I leave something to my mom or my brothers or sisters? But see, Tim probably was paying the premium, and as selfish as he is, he probably was like, they're not paying for this. He probably wouldn't have let them. But yeah, I agree with that. I could see that. Um, no more drama. Saying hi to Sister D. Mika is saying, I bet they will be back within an hour. Yes, they're probably gonna be back really soon. If they're asking them a question, yeah, they're probably getting ready to say guilty or not guilty. I can't wait. I can't wait. In his service says yes, and he is a very high-powered attorney, so he gets the moolah, win or lose. I know that's right. He's gonna get his money regardless. It's not one of those. If we win, you don't pay unless we win. It's not one of those attorneys. And I heard he has a very high winning rate. Yeah, like he wins. D Brown says cancel culture. Yes, I'll never forget the date that Andre got D. We can't use that word D, but yeah. Wow. Council says okay, thanks. Mrs. Parker says 3 bloggers in the room today were Celebrity News, Vale, and Chronicle Speak. Yeah, yeah. I watch celebrity news too, but Vale for some reason I don't know. Vale, I don't know if it's the Thoratics because Vale he mocks Terrica. He's like, can you help me with my son? He says she's a little slow. He every time he says something that she said, he goes into role. Vale is the bomb, and I'm gonna put I want um Mrs. Parker or whoever follows Vale. If you could put his link in there, so people can go and follow him. I had it in there the other day. It's called. Um, it's not I am Bill. That's what he. That's what he. Let's see. Hold on. And he also has a. Well, this case is about to be over, and he was just asking us what we wanted to do next. So I don't know if anything else is coming up, but it's called randomness. Randomness. Random. The word randomness. One word with Bill. Wait. No, randomness of veil, Vell. So randomness of veil, and he's the person who's giving us play by play from the courthouse. Um, I'm laughing when you said that Miss Robbie is probably next. ML Foxworth, girl, I don't know. I think I would prefer him to be where he is. Frying chicken in the jailhouse. Cancel says yes. Tiani says this case is going to break my heart if Tim gets off. Oh, it's going to break a lot of hearts. Oh, this is going to make me sick. And I was so hurt when the show closed because I love that show. I actually visited when we went to St. Louis, stood in the line and everything. But I mean, the food, I like my soul food. But yeah, it was good. I like, for those of you who are from Illinois, I like Priscilla's soul food. Um, Casey got off and remarried and had more kids. The irony. Yeah. These people are weird. DC says, hello, everyone. Elbow cough. Oh, thank you. D. Hi. Mrs. Parker says, that young man was my cousin's cousin. I just found that out 2 weeks ago. Wow. That is so sad. It's a small world. Traveling Tootie, a maniac. That sums it up. And his service says, I wouldn't be surprised there is a missing link with this. Miss Robbie must search her own soul. Yes, and I hope this doesn't because right now she still looks strong, but I know deep inside she has to be hurting. The news is always negative. It just messes with me and my emotions. You're right, canceled, and that's why I backed off of it. Hazel says if Robbie had testified, then they would have showed the text between Andre and Robbie. Other than that, is hearsay. That is so true, Hazel. That's true. No, they could have subpoenaed her records from her cell phone too, and then because they did have his cell phone. They probably have it because I'm quite sure all of his cell phone records were subpoenaed. Tiani says he's a psychopath. DC says, does anyone else think this plot was for Miss Robbie, but he couldn't figure out the money part? So he said Andre. I don't know, because they said that he did have a policy on Miss Robbie, and if I'm not mistaken, somebody said like $1 million or something, which would not be abnormal. It wouldn't have been abnormal because they're business partners. So, and in one situation, they said that he even lied and said that Dre was a business partner because they were saying that he wasn't able to take a policy out on him unless he was a business partner. So he made it like Dre was a third partner. Yeah. So, Cecilia, hi Cecilia, says praying and hoping that the jurors comes back with a guilty plea. So am I, Cecilia. Maxine, hi Maxine, says I really feel bad for Miss Robbie. Canceled says I heard a little bit about the purge law. The movies are telling you what they're thinking about doing. Oh, okay. KB says Miss Robbie knows that boy was behind all this mess. That's true. I believe that. Well, I don't know if she knew initially. I honestly don't think she probably knew that it was being planned. That's just my opinion. But I believe she knows that he did it. In his service says the whole plot was for money and greed, definitely. And KB says Miss Robbie is not crazy. No, she's not. She's 83 and she's on her game. Maxine says it's like she got cursed. Oh, you talking about Miss Robbie, Maxine? Yeah, because her baby's daddy, and then her son, and then her nephew, And you might as well say her son. You're right. And then another nephew, I believe Monique's brother was killed too in St. Louis. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that word. In his service says, "Hey Queen, case closed if Tim gets off. A R. Kelly repeat." Oh, you know what? They did the closing arguments for R. Kelly too, but I haven't heard anything. I was saying I wouldn't have mind because by us being right here, I wouldn't have mind going, and but I didn't get into that case for personal reasons. Because I know whether or not he's guilty or not on something. I know. No. But anyway, um, let's see. Wanda Clayton says, "Hey Swag, hey Wanda." Annie says, "Don't no mother want to believe their child committed murder or murder. I pray the Lord will open Miss Robbie's heart to accept this for Andre." Yeah, she probably already has. Um, Mika says Willie didn't want to testify because he didn't want more charges to be on him. It's more to Willie and Tim with the insurance policies. Oh, you're talking about that insurance agent, Mika? Castle said, "I wish I had time to click the link. I have a 4 o'clock doctor's appointment. I'm just checking in with my peeps, and hopefully I can get on the next one." Yes, Castle, please come back, please, please, please. Um, Mrs. Parker said, "Just got a text." Oh yeah, that was a text that I got. I'm waiting for this question. Tiani says, "I have subscribed and hit the like button." Thank you so much, Tiani. Please come back. We got some good stuff coming up. We got some classes coming up. We have some career development type stuff coming up. Um, and all that. Annie, exactly. D. Brown says, Wendy says, "Oh man, LOL." D is laughing. ML is laughing. In his service says, "Appeal will waste more time to some to same end. Rest." Yes. They may as well hang it up. They really do. Canceled is saying bye. Bye canceled. Or are you saying bye to somebody? Tiani says, "I wonder how the jury has been deliberating. Usually guilty verdicts don't take that long." Oh, you wonder how long they've been deliberating? Oh, wait. He says, "Just left the courtroom. The jury had a few requests uh, for additional evidence to be provided to them. Judge Ross had a conference with the counsel from both sides to discuss. The response from Judge Ross was that some of the requested evidence was not meant to be available to them." Oh, wow. So they're requesting evidence that the judge is saying they can't have. It sounds like. Wow. So, man, I hope that doesn't sway them in in the other way. Same end result. Criminals are stupid in his service. They are. They're dumb. Most of them are dumb. That's why they don't get. That's why they get caught. Tiani says, "Right, Tim has his dad's DNA for sure." Yes. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, his daddy was apparently a mess. Mrs. Parker says, "Family been full of lies on that show since day one." Wow. Tanja J says, "Greetings. It is possible he threatened her. He comes off as a bully." You know what, Tanja? I would not be surprised. Now, if he threatened me, I'm not gonna be afraid of my kid. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, he did it. Can you get him away from me?" Annie said, "I'm sorry. I would. She would turn in her kid." I believe that. I mean, hey, sometimes you have to, you have to set yourself free because in your heart you're gonna suffer and you're gonna hold that and you got to deal and live with that. Especially, it's like two. It's your son, your grandson, and your son. Robbie knows she was a side chick, Missy says, and sat on that show and lied and said she was engaged to Tim's dad. Did she say that? I never knew that. She might have been engaged to him in her mind, or maybe he told her that. But yeah, he was married, and actually, yeah, it's been a whole lot of stuff about that. Uh, I would if they did the crime. They need to do the time. So Cecilia says she would tell on her child. Patricia Dyer, hello. I'm a new subscriber to your channel. Thank you so much, Patricia. Thank you so much. In his service, and welcome, Patricia. In his service says you are right. They don't have lawyers now to try cases and holding cells full to capacity. Go amazing. Buy police mace. Oh, go on Amazon and buy police mace. It is at least your one fighting chance. Yeah, I have mace on my key ring from when I come in the garage at night or whatever. Yeah. Tim was greedy for money. That's what Annie says. Yes, definitely Annie. Diva is telling you all to subscribe to Swag Found. If you haven't already, please do so. Thank you. Um, you either a sheep or a goat. Tasha, that is true. Tasha Stewart. You are a boss chick. I love tuning in. Thank you so much, Miss India. Thank you, you all. Go follow Miss India if you haven't already done so. Positive TV with India. Follow Diva the Boss. Let's Talk TV. We have some very those are some very interesting topics and pages. Um, Follow Legend Reacts. Diva, you can drop some links in here if you're still here. Drop Miss India's and yours and Legends and Oceans and Sweet Teas. Um, and you know who to drop. I can't think of everybody. You said she says Annie, exactly, I believe that. Tasha says it can't be both. And Tia's World Order says it just dawned on me how sad she could have been while pregnant with Tim due to his father being killed and him stewing for months until birth definitely could have given him a poor start. Yeah, yeah, you never know, Tia, especially with yeah, being pregnant and dealing with that. I'm quite sure she was depressed, and I'm still looking for the text message. Yeah, but you're right. That could have had something. And then the DNA, the genetics, you just never know. Could have been something. Something was not right. Tiani says the appeal would take years and more money. And I'm thinking Miss Robbie is probably dry right about now. UPS driver says he will be acquitted. You think so, UPS driver? You think so? Oh, he says, however, look, every time I have my phone right here waiting for him to text. He says, however, the requested evidence that both sides agreed to give the jury was the Southwest Airline flight records for Terrica and Andre and the text messages between Tim and his attorney in Texas. This may mean this is not the slam dunk of a case that some expected it to be. Stay tuned. Come on, no, don't say that, Bill. Um, UPS driver, you might be onto something. Uh, any again says blessings for the Griggs family. Yes, that is Andre's family, his mom and siblings. In his service says God bless you all. Here I deal with official misconduct of cops. Chicago a beast. Yes, in this service, Chicago is no joke. Born and raised in Chicago. Yes, I know. My parents were, well, my mom was born in Mississippi, but she's been in Chicago almost all of her life. Yeah, my dad and mom. And Chicago has always been a beast. Let's put it that way. Um, Tia says, but he still appears to have a very bad character in addition to that. Exactly, Tia. And that's what I was saying. Because although I love Miss Robbie, Miss Robbie is a little feisty, you know what I'm saying? You just never know. Our kids are products of one of us, if not both, or a mixture, and that can be worse. Sherry says, because they love sitting in our trees. What happened, Sherry? Oh, they were talking about the likes versus the amount of people. Yeah, I saw over 400 people at one point. How many? Sherry said, I can't really see the likes, but it's all good. In his service, God is says, I fight for the citizens, not the patrol. Okay. Oh, well, that's good. You're on our side. That's good in his service. I have I have some cop friends. Tia says, but he still appears to have a very bad care. Okay, I saw that. Incorrect. Second degree murder are out. Mrs. Parker says. Yep, no offense. I mean, no high offense crime. Okay, so the high offense crime, they won't be in the purge, but that's good. I got a feeling they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back quick with this. I just hope. I don't know. Divas. Oh, not first degree, but yes, second degree. That's what Mrs. Parker says. Oh, okay. So yeah. So he might not get as much time. You think? Diva says hi to no more drama. D Brown is speaking to Diva. Sherry says, please climb. Oops, I pushed it up. Sherry says, please climb out of the tree and come and hit the like, share, subscribe, and you may resume back on your branch. Thank you. And take some water back up with you when you go. No. D Brown says, I pray for the family, but it's a lot to think about. I do. I know, D. I really do. Because from what we saw, like like with Monique and Miss Linda and them, and it's like they seem like a really like good people, you know. So I feel bad for them. Tanja says Robbie knows his evil ways, but using money earned from her patrons to get him out to do more evil, allegedly. Yes, yes, yeah. That's something to think about, Tanja. Tiani says, was the What's Up app back was it out in 2016? Oh, I don't know. I just recently started hearing about What's Up, and I didn't really like it. Like, I didn't really understand it. But he may not have been smart enough to use that. Sweet Tea, hey, Sweet Tea, you guys go follow Sweet Tea if you haven't already done so. Hey, Sweet Tea. Um, Lamarcus says, "Hold up, Queen. Tim took the stand. Show enough." Yes, Lamarcus, the narcissist himself. He took the stand in his own defense. He tried to fire his attorney the same day. In his service says she does. He had more knowledge of how Robbie's house was hooked up. Security system. Andre did not. That is true. But he's claiming that he got the security system after the burglary. But yeah. But Miss Robbie did say that only two people other than her knew the code, and there was no forced entry, so it had to be one of them. uh, Mrs. Parker says no. Turn the phone on airplane mode. You can't be traced. Oh, really? When you're on airplane mode? But see, what happened was Miss Parker. I think Mrs. Parker. I think he must have purchased the Wi-Fi on the plane because they, when you're because I know I purchased it when I'm on there so that I can still text and get on YouTube or whatever. So I don't know if that's what he did, even though it's in airplane mode. If you use the Wi-Fi, I don't know, maybe because they were saying that you can be traced even with Wi-Fi. That's what the analyst was saying. It's in one of the videos that I did. Malik says she wouldn't have had to say Dre text her and say he was feared for his life. You say she wouldn't have had to say that, but if they subpoenaed his records, they probably saw that. The jury has a question. They'll say, "Yeah, that's what Mika." I'm just catching up, Mika. There was so many comments. Okay, Mrs. Parker said the jury presented a question. Shar said, "I wonder what she's gonna do when he's found guilty." I know her reaction, Char. I wonder. It can still be tracked if it's off. Lamarcus said, you turn off location and then turn off location services. Airplane mode is your best bet. And so he wasn't that bright. Well, I think he was probably thinking the burner phones because he was on the burner phones. But they said they were tracking like 3 phones on him at one time. And the same 3 phones in LA that the same 3 phones were in St. Louis. I love Chicago, but it is what it is. Yes, Mrs. Parker. I love Chicago too. I mean, it's home. And that's one thing. No matter what environment you grew up in, it's home, right? Um, but I choose not to live directly in Chicago. But yeah, Chicago is, like I said, it's a beautiful city. The best food and places to go and stuff. Let me see. No, he hasn't sent anything. Shar Shar said probably feel relieved. You know what, Tanja? I never thought about that. Yeah, she might feel relieved, but I'm glad that she has her sisters and her family, and support because she doesn't have any children, and at her age, she's going to need her nieces and nephews and everybody. A company needs to buy a block and knock it all down. I don't know if that would help ZZs because there's a whole lot of blocks that need to be knocked down. And there's a lot of blocks that have boarded up buildings we're talking about in Chicago. But there's some beautiful now. Don't get me wrong. Now Chicago has some high ends. There's just certain areas of Chicago that are like that. But Chicago is it has some beautiful areas as well where people live. Sweet Tea is speaking. In his service, I do too, but Chicago can be better and safer. It can. It takes us. It takes people. Uh, and I always say while we're protesting about the cops or another color doing something to us, we need to protest about us doing something to us. And people don't like to hear that, and that's probably one of the reasons I got off Facebook because I got tired of them like people like saying blaming everybody but taking the blame for ourselves. At some point, we have to take accountability for ourselves and what part are we doing to make our or our sons or our nephews or our cousins, are we willing to, like we're just saying, are we willing to turn them in and call them out? And but everybody wants to like hush that, like but we want to get mad at the others, which is wrong. I don't agree with them doing stuff to us, but we do stuff to us too. In his service, the real by the Soul Circus for Kids 9 shot 2 dead last night. Are you serious? In Chicago? The Universal Circus is here? Oh my God. That's so sad. That's what I'm saying. This is an everyday thing. It's like, man, I'm telling you. And I'm not even gonna get that's a whole different live. That's a whole different live that us on us. Kimber says juries just sent out the court saying they have okay, yeah, we did that. Philly is terrible too. Nothing like when I was growing up. Justice for Andre. Yeah, that's what I said. There's more than Chicago. There's a lot of places that's gone that it's just a world in general. Erica, go look up Chicago laws effective January 2023. Okay, so that's what I need to do. I need to look that up. I think that's it. Let me see. Because I read what he let me see about the Southwest Airlines diva. Let me see. Because I got that text. Chicago laws 2023. Okay. Let's see. In his services, way too many picked, strange, greedy hips. Those childbearing hips. My husband always called it last minute. Okay, let's see. They are not going to let Tim out if he is found guilty. They are not. He will have to sit in jail and wait for sentencing. Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, he's not going home. They've had him in there all this time. In his service, yes, you are right. Look in Tim's eyes; they are empty. Yeah, he has no soul. That's the perfect. Oh, yeah, that's the perfect example of a person with no soul. When you can look through his eyes and see absolutely nothing, whether he wins or loses. Cecilia said, I think Tim will be found guilty, but you never know with juries. That's true. Especially if they really don't know the dynamics of the family like we do. And if they're really just the going off of what was presented to them, you just never know. Cecilia says, oh, Maxine says street cred because that show he cold blooded not to mess with. Yeah, yeah, that's true. But he was saying that he was lying, saying he doesn't have any street cred because, of course, now he's a mentor and he's to be praised. He wanted to make he made it out like I don't have street credibility anymore because I called the police. Him and his mom, he says. Tanja says his soul is occupied by demons. Oh, that is. Uh, in the service says the addy gets paid, the attorney gets paid, and in appeal more money. The attorney drains Miss Robbie, and that's what I'm saying. Miss Robbie, I don't know. I can't say because, like you said, it just I don't know. I think Charles would have been next on his list, and I said that too. Charles was one of the 5 employees he was trying to get an insurance policy on. Exactly. Yes, Charles was. Tim was and is greedy. Yes, he is. Vanessa Janikin, welcome, Vanessa. He says, I think. She says, I think he paid those people and traveled with the money he took from his own mother. He robbed his mother. That's true because Vanessa, they were saying he said that he would take like 10,000 off of the 60 every time he picked up money from each of the restaurants, and he would give certain people some to hold for him because he didn't trust the banks. Yeah, and his service says she will have to pay for an appeal if they get one. Dee says she agrees he was spending more than he made. Yeah, that's so sad because that was an empire. His mom built an empire, and just think he had been in prison and came home and was given an opportunity of a lifetime. You know, I mean, a lifestyle that he was afforded, and he just blew it. Malik says, I still can't believe Tim was on the stand for one day and Miss Robbie didn't testify at all. Me too, Malik. I was waiting to hear Mrs. Robbie's testimony. Tanja said, narcissists are hate and money driven. Yes, yes, and it's so sad. Oh, Mrs. Parker saying, rest in peace to Harold Washington. Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday when our Mayor Harold Washington died. I was in high school actually. And yeah, and you know what they say about that. Somebody put something in his coffee. I don't know, allegedly, but they never really. They just said he had a heart attack or something. Lamarcus says, I remember when Tim did that video with Migos, and he didn't pay them all their money. Really? Wow, wow. So there's a lot of people probably were after Tim anyway, right? Vanessa said, yes, I thought I was wrong with the missing money and the amount stolen. No, you were right, probably, Vanessa. That number kept changing every time they asked the question. It went from one thing to the next, and then at the end, it ended up $1 million and records and all of that. In his service says, and you are right. No, he's going down. Take care, Queen. Okay, see you later in his service. Come back. I appreciate you. Vanessa said Tim stole that money from his mom. Federal trials aren't televised. Oh, okay. Oh, really? Getting fined now. Okay, I heard that, girl. She says federal trials aren't televised. Okay. So that's why R. Kelly's and this one is it. So the one with OJ, I guess it probably wasn't federal. Hey, The Real Spill Tea by Jules. Hi, Swag and Chat. Federal trials aren't okay. Tiani says the same thing. She says we're both on it. I know that's right. Sure not. Vanessa says that yes, I love Dale too. He gives all the deets. He sure does, Tiani. I love me some Dale. In this service says, y'all remember anyone who was in Ike and Turner's group was ruthless. Yeah, in this service. And I also heard that anybody who was in his group had to be with him. And I don't know how true that was, allegedly, but they said that. Mrs. Parker says camera and film production for TV stations are not allowed in the federal court. That is why they weren't allowed. Oh, so Vail and them are in there, but they're in there as media. So I guess that's a little different. In the service says plus Miss Robbie's 12 million. She took all that money. Had she split income with her precious Tim, maybe this would have never happened. You said she had 12 million? Wow. I didn't know that. B More too says, well, like she says, so I know and I say that too because of her. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. I know that's right. Spoke the words on Welcome to Sweetie Pies. Yes, she did. I think Miss Robbie is, and knowing she is going to lose her last child, and she's trying to hold on. Yeah, that's true, Vanessa. Oh, that is so sad. Oh yeah, Tiani. She says, be careful mentioning Miss Robbie. She is currently suing another YouTube content creator for someone coming on the show, providing the tea on her from back in the day. Remember to say allegedly. Thank you, Tiani. Everything said on here today is allegedly. I do not know these people. Everything is allegedly. In his service says, now Tim, the dirty work facilitator, y'all pay more attention to Robbie's sisters who support this. They are all, oh, wow. Monique says, this just shows why people shouldn't say someone didn't do something. A lot of people in the spotlight, not always that is so true, Monique. And that's, yes, I'm just going to say that's true, and that's everywhere. People who, even clergy, judges, I mean, everybody. You're right. Oh, Vanessa says she grew up in St. Louis. Okay, so Vanessa, you're familiar with, I agree, she knew she may have had oh, allegedly, Vanessa. Justice for Dre. That's what Divas keep saying. Justice for Dre. They can, what up, if you Google driven by Google. Oh, WhatsApp app is Google. Is through Google. So yeah, they can trace that then. Yeah, is he really destroying the image of the family, or was he trying to cover up their reality with the scripted show? Mrs. Parker. That's a good question, Mrs. Parker. That's a good question. I love Chronicle Speaks. I'm gonna have to check Chronicle Speaks out, getting fine now. I did listen to the other one, the celebrity one. Shoni12, new subscriber. Welcome, Shoni12. I appreciate you. You Ally says Miss Robbie would make a lot of money if she does get approved for that Mary Jane soul food license. She's trying to get some type of soul food license. And I say that this would be a good movie. I could see someone picking this up for Lifetime. Come on, Dale. Come on, jury. Wow. Yeah, if she gets a soul food license for, I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, she probably will. She's gonna need to do something to keep her, going. And like I said, I love Miss Robbie. To me, she's a beautiful lady, and my heart goes out to her, really. Bill's impressions are hilarious. I love this show. Yes, girl, he has you. Oh my goodness, especially when he does that girl. When he does that girl, now that's funny. When he does Terrica. When he does Terrica, baby. Random in Seville. Yeah, that's his page. Chronicle Speaks is one of my favorites. The thorough commentaries. Okay, I'm gonna check her out, Tanja. Diva saying hit the like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe. Please share. Thank you. Vanessa says I thought the same that Miss Robbie is next. Wow. Vale yells, Oh yeah. He goes, I didn't do it. Because they said that's what Tim yelled in court. His outburst he had. One of his outbursts. Miss Loretta says, me too. Oh, I'm way behind. Randomness Phil, D. Watts, and Real B Talk and Philly Phil is actually more informative than Bill. Okay. I did look at the Watts. I caught something today that she summed it up. I like how she summed up the day. She didn't do like what I saw was the clip where she did like she showed the courthouse, she showed in the court and stuff like that, like a makeshift court, and I thought that was really neat. But it wasn't in detail, but it did sum it up in a nutshell. I like that. The reason the show ended was because of that's what they're saying. That's why the show ended. But then again, I heard that it ended because they were investigating him. So I don't know how true which one is. It's probably a combination of both because when the FBI is on you, you know, I'm quite sure Oprah didn't want her name associated with that. If he gets out, everyone needs to lock their doors and watch their surroundings. Yeah, he probably would. Well, I don't know where he would stay because right now his residence is in LA. But yeah, when Bill hollers, I didn't do it. Yes, Mrs. Parker is hilarious. Okay, Auntie Loretta speaking. When are they going to? Oh, big Chris, white boy Chris. Um, I don't know. I heard them mentioning him, but I don't know what the situation is with him. I don't know if he's already taken a plea. Is he one of the ones who's already taken a plea or what? But yeah. Okay, so I haven't heard back from him. You said federal trials are not okay, right? Why we can't watch? When would Terrica testify? She testified, Nia. She testified on, I want to say the first day, maybe. I have a video of um, the first day I did it on Sweetie's live toward the end, but the second, third, fourth, fifth, I have those dates. But yeah, Terrica testified. That's who Vale is mimicking when he talks like that. The reap spill tea. Okay. Um. Okay. So then, yeah, she's telling you that she testified last week. All of them are street players. So these people play a ruthless dog eat dog game. That's what in the service says. I went to school in Chicago. Most people in Chicago personally know someone who can confirm R. Kelly allegations. UB is the truth. Yes, UB. It's hard not to because R. Kelly was definitely saturated throughout Chicago, and many, many people know him. You know, know him. Know him because yeah, he was definitely in the Chicagoland areas, and yeah. In his service, trying to chat live on this can't get through. Oh, I think you're gone now in his service. Are you still here? I'm gonna have to go down because I'm behind. That's how I missed it. But I didn't see where anybody was trying to come up. Okay. Can't get through. He had the right to object to any person on the jury. You can't say yes to a jury member, then say no. It's not fair, right? But he was talking. We were saying that Jay Mia, hi Jay Mia. We were saying that he probably would try to say that about his attorney, that he didn't have you know, that he wasn't represented properly. You said the amount of questions the jury is asking will make it impossible to find Tim guilty without reasonable doubt. Oh my goodness, UPS, you might be right there. It was a police officer's niece who, in his service, not going to talk about that. You, because I know. You a lie. Said, I turned my son in, but not my daughter. Really? Why you a lie? Yeah, in the service. Diva the Boss puts legends. Okay, so she's dropped some links for me. ML Foxworth say, LOL girl, are you a comedian? You are funny. You know what, ML Fox, I'm a college instructor, and so I use when I'm teaching, I usually I just try to keep it like, down to earth, and so I do crack jokes a lot. And most people wouldn't believe that about me, though. But thank you. Kamala says, do you think the J are thinking free food if he's found not guilty? Not guilty. Girl, those people don't want no chicken. You think she said, do you think that they're thinking that they're gonna get some free food if he's found not guilty? Girl, they better not be. Those no well actually the makeup of the jury, I don't think they're looking for some sweetie pies. I don't think so. St. James says that I am concerned about that burglary. Miss Robbie's nose doesn't seem to clean. Allegedly. Wow, St. James. Unless Miss Robbie has some, SB. You guys have a perspective, and that's okay. Kamala, do you think? Oh, okay, I saw that. Mrs. Parker said, if you want, I can drop text info for you. Oh, I'm way behind. Yeah, I've read the text already. I'm waiting for the next text message. Oh, that's true, Tiani. She says, Ms. Robbie said on the show she identified Tim's dad's body. Not sure how she identified his body since he was married. And you know what? That's true because that happened recently to someone that I know. Well, my cousin's cousin, and he was at a woman's house, and his wife had to come over there to identify his body. And at first, they didn't want to let her in, but the police were with her, and they had to let her in because she was his wife. So yeah, you're right. That's weird. Sounds like somebody's not telling the truth, right, Tiani? SB says the only way he's acquitted is if Miss Robbie has bought out a juror or two. Ooh, ooh. Well, supposedly they don't know them. Now she would get in a lot of trouble. Can you imagine that? It's not even worth that. She would get in so much trouble if that happened if she got caught. I didn't think they would get him on that wire fraud. Oh, okay, so St. James, that may be thrown out. That's what everybody's thinking. Oh, thank you, welcome, legend. Erda is in it though, second degree, right? New subscriber. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what degree was. The degrees getting fined. New subscribers, hit the like. Thank you, Vanessa, John again. Any money going to that restaurant would benefit Tim, not my money. No way. Hazel, it's funny you say that because when we were on Vale's show, a lot of people were saying that they were no longer going to support the restaurants. And we were like, some people were saying, well, it has nothing to do with the restaurant. And others were saying, well, we're not going to put money in his pocket or whatever. Yeah. So that's interesting. And I don't think they're doing as well as they was. But some people are going to eat. You know how we are. Um, Brittany Powell said, big booty Tim. Big booty Tim. UPS money goes a long way. I believe some folks were paid off. The prosecution dropped the ball with this case. You think so, UPS? I kind of felt like they could have been a little harder, but I thought because of the fact that the people took the plea and they all pointed the fingers to him that they didn't need as strong of a prosecution. But ooh, St. James says more like big hippie, big hippie Tim. Miss Robbie knows that Tim set that up for their insurance. Oh, St. James, allegedly. Linda Cummings, the prosecution did not drop the ball. He is going to be doing guilty. Okay, Linda said that firmly. Like that's it and that's all. Linda said guilty. UPS driver reasonable doubt only has to be placed in their minds. It's me says, hi, it's me. It says, Tim could get off. If he does, the jury is going to regret it after knowing what we know. They should ask themselves, why did the others take a plea? That is so true. Because when this is over, the jury is going to want to see that show. And they're going to, and yeah, you're right. And you can't do double jeopardy. So he's going to pay one way or another. You're right, Queen Black. Even if he gets off, he has to live with this for the rest of his life. And yeah, he needs to be careful. Elegant Tammy says he's the only one that had connections to everyone. No one really knew the other. He was the common denominator. He's guilty of sin. Well, actually, I'm trying to think. Travell and Dre apparently knew each other. Dre and Terrica knew each other. And it seemed like I remember there being something where Travell and Terrica knew each other. But Tim, yeah, he's in the middle of it all. He is the common denominator. Okay, let's see. You said Linda Cummings said the prosecution did not. Okay, we saw that. Traveling Tootie said, if I had $1 million in my house, I would have a top-notch security system. That is true, Traveling Tootie. That doesn't make sense, does it? And you have the master copies of her music and all that stuff. You're right. That doesn't make sense. And right. FBI mods. I sub. Oh, FYI, I'm so crazy. I'm so entangled into this. I'm seeing FBI. It's FYI. For your information, mods. I subbed and liked the channel. Thank you, Mrs. Parker. Thank you. Welcome. Justice for Dre. Yes, Par. Vanessa says, right. If there was $1 million in cash, then she was hiding money from Uncle you know who. Yes. But a lot of older people, they do that. Like they may put money away and hide it in different places because they don't they don't trust the banks. But Queen Black, Tiani says that Queen Black, oh yes, we know that. Tanja says there is a murderous spirit over Chicago. Remember the gang? Yeah, I remember the gangster age. That's what I was saying. I remember, girl, that's a whole different show. I remember the black and gold and the red and black, and yeah, I remember those. I had relatives and stuff too in that mess. But yeah, that's a show. We're gonna have to talk about that, Chicago. When we talk about Chicago, I'm gonna do a live about it because there's a lot of stuff that used to happen, and that's why I say it's just that we didn't have social media, so it wasn't publicized as much. But there's been something going on. I know all of my life, there's been something going on. I hope the jurors were keeping up with all the contradictions, aka lies that were told. Yes, Tiani, I hope so too. That's their job. I hope so. If he gets less than 10 years, he just needs to sit. He better get more than 10 years. Parr says, I wonder if Tim pre-planned Wally's fate. If not, where? You know what, Parr? I saw that in somebody's comments because they were saying that that's the insurance person. They can't find him. And they've been trying to find him so that he could testify, and nobody knows where he is. Girl, that somebody did say that. Like they better look for him because he might be. Come on, they haven't said anything else. He hasn't texted. Okay, so Getting Fine Now says I definitely think he's the one who actually did. Yeah, the burglary. Yeah. I heard a piece of his seemingly convincing testimony. Frightening. Yeah. He cried and everything, Tanja. He did. He cried, broke down, all that. Tim was up in the casinos here in St. Louis. I believe that, Deborah. Wasting that lady's money. If he is not, Chianti says if he is not found guilty by the jury, he would definitely be found guilty by the one that really matters, God. Amen. Amen. If he did it, that's the ultimate. You're right. That's the ultimate price right there, Chianti. Um, Diva says, thanks, Miss Parker. Queen Black said, you can still be traced even if you hide your location. I believe that. The government, I said the other day how, you know, using what is it, the iPads, we call it iPads here, but the toll monitors and stuff like that. I remember my uncle once when those first came out, and I was like, why don't you get an iPad instead of having to pay the toll? He goes, no, he said, that's a tracking device. He goes, if they're looking for you, they know you just went past this thing on I-294, and I was like, man, I never thought about that. They can place you. And so they have tracking mechanisms. And then Bill was saying that when the analyst was talking about the cell towers, he brought up the fact that cell towers are not always like noticeable. It can be a palm tree, like in I think he said Arizona. It can be a pole, or it can be some of everything. So yeah, you're being traced, and every time you go through a toll booth, they take a picture of your plate. So, and driving down the street, they're taking pictures of plates now. So um, you can still be traced. Tiani says Tim owes American Express. Yes, $250,000. Vale said that came out. Yes, I talked about that today. That was one of the things that the government used to paint him out as a liar, because he said that he was good with his money, and they brought out the fact that they have a judgment out against him for $215,000 from American Express. So he was just dropping that plastic everywhere. Tim pitched the show to Oprah and wrote. Yes, he wrote. I think he wrote all of the scripts. ML. But yeah, they did say Tim was. That's why I say he was a blessing. That's what Bill was saying. He's a blessing and a curse to the family, because he pitched the Oprah, when she came up with that OWN station. She had this contest where people could pitch a show and she would take them in, and she pitched that show. I mean, he pitched that show to her, and they were selected, and they said that he wrote the script. Yeah, so he was talented in that. That's why I was saying that he wrote the script for his testimony. He probably has it on some paper somewhere in the cell. OJ's case wasn't a federal case, okay? Because the family was suing him. I mean, was charging him, not the state. That's probably, yeah. You're right. Not the right. Okay, so yeah, B Moore says, indeed, I love Miss Robbie. Yeah, I do too. I love her. I love her. I think she's. I mean, we all have our faults, but as far as being an African American senior citizen woman, uh, I consider her to be. She's she's done a great job. She provided employment for a lot of people, and she was a single mom. So it's just a lot of things that I admire about her. Tiani is saying you're welcome. Be more. All of this allegedly, as we don't know the ins and outs of everything, speaking on public information. That's true. But we still have to, I guess, say it for the technicality of it. Rebecca Cruz says, new subscriber. Welcome, Rebecca Cruz. Welcome. Yeah, we just say it for the sake of, because I don't know these people. So, yeah. And I try not to be judgmental, but I'm just reporting what I've heard. And, yeah. And what we've seen on TV. So, even though it was a script, but some of it had to be real. I wouldn't have trusted Tim with those hips, with the hips. Oh, Monique said he had those childbearing hips. She did not trust him. And that's not allegedly. Miss Jazz C says it will be a difficult script to write when it comes to Mrs. R's home being burglarized. You think it? I don't know. With this young man, Ms. Robbie applied for a medicinal marijuana license. It was denied. Really, Tiani? She must not have had the proper ailment or illness. And Queen Black says it sure was. I wonder why they denied her. I guess they're not as easy as we thought to get, huh? Especially at her age, you know. But Monique says Tim was money hungry and felt he was entitled to his mother's money and restaurants she built. And that is true, Monique. I totally agree with that. And I always say that, you know, as our kids become adults, um, it seems like they, especially this generation of kids, these last, I would say from 2000, from 90s and 2000s, it's like they feel entitled to what the parent has, and it's not really the case. Your parent does not have to give you, or all they're responsible for is raising you and taking care of you and making sure you're safe. And when you get to a certain age, they really don't have to take care of you. Um, but that's a whole different life, because like when something happens to somebody and they're like, they ain't leave us not, they ain't leave, they don't have to. If you want something from your parents, you're free to go and say, can I get insurance or whatever on you, as long as you're not trying to knock them, take them out. But he certainly felt entitled, and that was his mom's hard work. He did work hard. Now I can't take that from him. He did do a lot. He wasn't lazy with helping, but he just became greedy. Mrs. Parker says no, she applied for medical marijuana license, but her application, oh wait, he just said, Dale just said something. He said, I just left the courtroom for the jury's second note to Judge Ross. They asked for all of the text message evidence submitted during the trial. Both sides agreed to submitting the evidence to the jury. Judge Ross will check in with the jury around 5 p.m. to see how things are going. At that point, we will have a better idea on if we will be looking at another day of jury deliberations. So the jury is still looking at text. So they are taking those text messages into consideration. So that's good, because those text messages are what were most damning, I think, to the case. So again, she says she applied for a medical marijuana license, but her application was denied. Her intention was to infuse her soul food, with THC. Go on, Miss Robbie. She could have made some edibles, some brownies and some cookies. Yes. No. She could try to get him again, but she may have to wait to get it. Okay. I wonder. Okay. I guess she doesn't have as much pull as we thought she did. At Queen Black, I think that was that sounds about right, Tiani. It was Tim's idea to do that. He would have been in there eating. Those hips would have been spreading. Wait a minute. I'm trying to see what somebody else is saying here. Okay, so Mrs. Parker says that the cannabis license can take you to the ringers. Tiana says Oprah's probably glad she ended it. He would definitely probably leave St. Louis. Yeah, he'd probably get out of St. Louis. Oh, wait a minute. A verdict's been reached in R. Kelly's. I'm getting ready to say, wait a minute, y'all. Let me see what happened with R. Kelly. They done reached a verdict. Where's my infamous Sylvia? Infamous Sylvia. She seems disappointed. Wait a minute, y'all. Two defendants said, undecided. Oh, okay. So they reached the verdict. I guess they haven't said this is the R. Kelly case. That infamous Sylvia. She's waiting for the verdict. It has been reached, and she's so nervous because she really supports R. Kelly. Okay, let me see. Let me try to get down here. I'm going to go to the bottom and work my way up because there's a lot of comments. Yeah. Oh, so a verdict has been reached, you guys, with R. Kelly. Even though it doesn't really matter because I mean he's still going to be in jail. He just won't be. This is just for Chicago. This has nothing to do with the other states. So he has to still do the time in the other places. So this is just like additional time, but still it matters, I guess. Whoo! People on here saying that their stomachs are in knots. I just got. Oh wow! These people on here they're like they're praying for Sylvester Kelly. Okay, so baby girl Wendy, hi. I'm going backwards now. Um, hey baby girl, Tim may need to help write. Oh, going that way is hard. Let's see. Oh, she's saying guilty, guilty. Elegant Tammy, you're talking about for R. Kelly. Miss Robbie, she probably spent all her retirement money. Oh yeah, that green will help her if she spent that retirement money, Katrina. Let me see. I'm trying to go up. It's hard to go backwards. Tim may need to help her write that application for the American. Okay, for the he should have done it. He probably did fill it out. Maybe that's why it was rejected. Check out the links that Diva dropped, please. Oh, hold on. They said the lawyers were telling each other, "Good luck, you two." This is for now. Miss Robbie wanted to make more money. R. Kelly. They reached a verdict on all counts. She's so nervous. She's gonna probably break down and cry. That lady has been really working this case. The jury's on their way in the courtroom to read the verdict on R. Kelly. Okay, I know I'm mixing it up, y'all. I'm sorry. Nothing like a good edible, Katrina say. And I don't even do it, Katrina. I just like the sweets. The jury needs to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. That's true. Brandy Coke is agreeing with Diva the Boss. Maybe this was a script he wrote to be on the world dumbest criminals. Mika, remember that show? Oh, she's telling everybody to put not guilty in the chat. Oh, they really are going for him. Chicago is not. I don't think Chicago is gonna go crazy because Chicago they like excuses to. Chicago likes any reason to act nut, but I don't think this is worth them doing anything crazy outside. Miss Robbie needs to understand the reality that Tim is guilty. The proof is the evidence. It's in the evidence. Tim may have felt since his pitch got them the show, it was his show. It was his show and his business. And you're right. You're right, Tanja. I can see that. Dale has texted again. Yeah. He did. He was saying about the delay in his, he said, let's see, because of this, I will be unfortunate. Unfortunately have to push back the scheduled live stream tonight. So basically, he was just saying to give himself time, because he's waiting around to see what they're going to say as far as the jury deliberations. Hopefully, they're going to look over this stuff and end it. That's what he's hoping, but he's just going to hang around to see. The judge is going to call it anyway in a little while. He's going to go check on them and say, I guess whether or not they over here praising the Lord, hallelujah. All in this chat saying not guilty. But the thing is, he still has to serve times. And I think he got a lot of time in New York. Was it New York? Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm going off topic because I have okay. Hi, I'm new. I'm watching in the bushes. Brandy Cope, thank you for joining us. Make sure you're comfortable up there. Okay, actually, it was a license to infuse food. Oh, it was a license to infuse food with THC. That should have been easier to get. That should have been easy because I think there are some bakeries doing that. SB. Okay, had to take a call. You do great work. I'm subscribing. Oh, thank you. In his service. Welcome, welcome. Tim needs to be underneath the jail with a full-time psychiatrist. Girl, he might make the psychiatrist need a psychiatrist. Mrs. Parker says, that's why I always say, per my opinion. And she said, damn the allegedly. Okay. Per my opinion. But she treats her employees bad. Miss Robbie does, Chianti? You think Miss Robbie treats the employees bad? Thank you, Katrina. She says, I subscribe to. Thank you so much. Yeah, Katrina, he did. He wrote the scripts and he was considered an executive producer. Guilty. Oh, they found him guilty. Oh, people on here. Oh, they about to have a fit. He's guilty, you guys. Not guilty on count 4 through 8, whatever that was. Oh, so he's guilty on child pornography. So he's guilty on child pornography and not guilty on counts 4 through 8, but guilty on child pornography. Oh, okay. So what does that mean? Somebody's in her chat saying whose case is this for? And she's been working our Kelly case forever. Okay, so when you go live on this, I'll come up to the panel. For which one, Mika? You said, did Tim and Andre's phones ping? Dow McDavid. Who is that? Not guilty on all accounts. Oh, he's a co-defendant. I don't know. I don't even know. I didn't keep up. Okay, Mika, that's fine. Tim and Andre's phones pinged near Miss Robbie's house the day of the burglary. Also, was anything recovered from where Andre was after? Well, I know Jer and Akiva. He did have some clothes like in a bag that Terrica bought him at the mall that they said was at the scene. He dropped it. He had just gotten it from her when he was attacked. Not guilty for who? Who are all these different people? Oh, they must have been prosecuting other people with R. Kelly. Because somebody else, Brown or somebody, was not guilty. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Katrina. He shouldn't have gotten on the stand. Chicago mobsters, I would be interested in the history of Chicago. There's definitely blood in the soil that only God sees. Yes, Tanja. Yes. That is true. In fact, Tanja, every now and then, like some few years back, they found remains of people like in strange places, that they feel like was tied to the mobsters in Chicago. Oh, he had to surrender his passport? Yeah, I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure he had to do that. My grandmother was old school, but she only hid so much money in the house. She said she ain't crazy. Everybody know how old people got money. That old people got money in the house, right? Queen Black cried that you could be rich by frying chicken. Yeah, he was crying, saying you can be rich just frying chicken. I wanted to show the boys that they only see rich people who are drug dealers. He would have done. He would have been better off probably. Yeah, Wally may have left the country. You're right, UPS. Whoever Milton McDavid, Milton Brown, not guilty. I don't know. Do y'all know those people? I can tell. SB, really? I can tell the ran a train over his Robbie. So if he's found not guilty, will he be able to collect? No. And we all know what really happened. No, he won't. He won't get that insurance policy because it was apparently it wasn't. Well, it seemed like there was some inconsistencies or something in it. I don't think he can get it. Well, you say if he's not guilty, that's something to think about. Who do you guys think? That's true. Uh, Mrs. Parker said even if they had high tech security, all that didn't matter. All that didn't matter because her son knew the code, right? Uh-huh. Katrina, your grandfather used to keep money under the mattress. Yeah, Chad. That's what they used to do. Tim gets off because the mommy paid for high-powered attorneys, and the rest have public defenders. Wow. Yeah, I'm Queen Black. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if the Griggs family goes after financials. Yeah. Thank you, Katrina. She says nice commentary. Thank you so much. My only concerns is no direct testimony that Tim ordered the hit. Yeah, Darren, that was kind of weird. Katrina, thank you for subscribing. You sound like Auntie Queen Black. She's talking about I am unique, Mrs. Parker. That's great. Movie title for Lifetime. Was the robbery of Miss Robbie's house ever reported? Yeah, she had a private eye. T-boat. A private eye was investigating it. Actually, three of them, but they never solved it. Whoever did it, karma will get them in some way. You guys have a lot of comments. Miss Parker said, Mrs. Parker said, "Welcome to Sweetie Lies." Oh, that man had so many counts. I can't even repeat what she just said. He was found. The child pornography stuff count 4 through 8 and 11 through 13 not guilty. Everything else guilty. The man had 13. Goodness. Okay, so anyway, that's R. Kelly. Yeah, white boy Chris pled the fifth because he is facing other charges unrelated to Tim's case. That's why he didn't say a word. Oh, that made sense because white boy Chris, all he had to say was, I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. That's all he would say. She said he didn't get found guilty for obstruction or something. But anyway, back to Sweetie Lies. Let's see. FYI, unfortunately, I left my phone charger at the house the one day that I really needed. So unfortunately, okay. So basically, Real is gonna update us more later. But yeah, I have a feeling that they're probably gonna go. They're gonna probably deliberate some more for some reason because if they're still going through emails. Chris Carroll complete fifth on everything, and I feel like he's getting off for his role in Dre's setup. Is going down for the PPP loan soon. Yeah, so he's one of those people who actually are that actually got in trouble for PPP loan, right? PPP loan, right, Tiana? Um, Big Chris is in trouble. Oh yeah, right. I am unique. Big Chris was like, my name is Emmett, and I'm not in it. What did they say? Okay, so yeah, I caught up there. Let me go now. Why didn't she make a formal police report? All crimes formal. She hires private. Doesn't make sense. All Miss Robbie's, all items in Miss Robbie's must be recorded for laws. Yeah, that's true. Sweetie Lies and Sweet. You guys are hilarious. R. Kelly will not be stepping in the name. Mr. J delivered diva number one. Stepping. I still love his music now. The man is talented, but yeah, his music is. I mean, I can't take that away from that. But yeah, I don't think he would, regardless how powerful. Service God. What do you mean? What did Service God say? Somebody said he needs the death penalty. He never showed remorse. Let's see. R. Kelly. Oh, those were his entourages. Oh, okay. His entourage homies. And so yeah, so they were found, seems like they were found not guilty. How is that? I turned it off because when they started naming count 1, 4, 5, 8, 12, 13, and then guilty, I couldn't keep up with that. It was giving me a headache. I'm like, goodness. He was found. She's talking about, yeah. She keeps saying child pornography is the one that he found guilty on. So he wasn't found guilty on anything but child pornography, and all of those were different counts on child pornography. And then people saying there were no children. Oh yeah, one of them was. But anyway, oh no. Deals that guilty verdict was not Tim. I'm sorry to confuse you. That was I caught the some of R. Kelly, his verdict is in. It's not in yet, deals. Right, Katrina. He won't get that money. Yeah, he does look proud, ML Foxworth. You're right. Yeah, she treats the employees bad. She hires people that have a record and pays them low wages. They have even said they didn't have enough to buy food from Sweetie Pies. Really? Oh, that's sad. Oh, somebody told me to stop going back and forth. Just stick to the case. You're confusing me. Okay, I'm sorry. Added time to 50 years. Still a verdict. Uh, okay, Mika, I got you. Oh, Elegant, I'm sorry. Okay, so thank you for subscribing, Donna. Now, no, you gotta have major pool. Oh, really? So you can't get those licenses that easy. Tiani, yeah, I don't listen to the music, but are you edible, Miss Swag? No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't do edibles. Oh, Katrina, those we were talking about R. Kelly. We haven't. We do not have an update for everybody. We do not have an update on Tim's trial yet. The the jurors, the jury is still reviewing the evidence, but they are working on what to say. I'm sorry I confused you, but I kind of got interested just that quick. When they said guilty verdict, I mean the verdict is in, I was like thinking that oh yeah, YL, that's his name. YL Yangnam. He is the insurance agent. You say he was undercharged, Emil? He's getting ready to be sentenced, but he's missing. They don't know where he is. But I think he just didn't I just think he didn't want to be involved in this part of it. And I don't blame him. I mean, if I'm already like I've already pled guilty and I'm waiting to be sentenced, why would I want to be a part of your trial? I don't blame him. I probably would get out of Dodge too. Katrina, you're right. Yes, Monique. Right. I agree. And so we're making some people mad because we've intertwined these two. But anyway, you guys, I was trying to wait to see if they would come back, but it looks like they may, because the judge is only giving them to until 5, and so somebody said we might have 10 more minutes. Let's see. I don't know. So I was trying to, uh, hoping that we could get some information, but it doesn't look like He wasn't obligated to. No, he wasn't, Katina. And I don't. I mean, if he had the choice, I would say no. I wouldn't want. Why would you want to put yourself through that? I wouldn't want to do that. Us girls here work timelessly. Queens, we have the responsibility. Their crowns. Yes. Yes. Yes, Katrina. The judge was pushing for a speedy trial, and he got it. Actually, he got it faster than he wanted it. Because, well, I mean, it's not over, but yeah, he was saying he didn't want it to go past this Friday. Yes, he could have. He could have reported Tim, but he didn't. When he said that, yes, when he made that comment, I know that's right. And it serves the judge is going home at 5, so he's probably about to knock on the door and let them know, we'll see you tomorrow. Uh, Laughing. Yeah, you'd have to laugh. It's all fun and games. Miss J Deliver said they shouldn't be putting that mess in food anyways. Where do we draw the line? Okay, let's see. Foxworth, what did you say? Yeah. So you think he was? It says they provided R. Kelly. Oh, they can't prove or have pictures of entourage engaging. That's true. Yeah, that whole thing is just it's just sad. It's sad. The verdict isn't gonna come back today. Tomorrow is the day, guys. Yes, I agree, Lyndon. I agree. So you guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Um, I will, if I get an update, well, it's going to be kind of late. But if they go over until tomorrow, then as soon as I get some details on what happened today, I will share them. But basically, it was just the deliberation. I mean, the arguments and closing arguments and stuff like that. So it really wasn't much. There was no witnesses or anything. So we're just waiting on the verdict, basically. So that is it. So I really appreciate you guys. Please, 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 if you haven't done so already, hit the like button. Please subscribe and hit the notifications button. And if you have the capability, please share. Um, Deborah, I don't understand why Miss Robbie didn't have cameras all around the house. Exactly. Exactly. What if I had, yeah, $1 million? Oh, so he sent that. Okay. So Dylan, that makes sense. Miss J Deliver said, great job, lady. We're all sort of nosy. Be well, new subscriber. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can't help because I'm nosy. I wanted to hear what was going on. When I saw that verdict, I'm thinking, wait, did Vale miss something? And I clicked on and I forgot. I'm like, oh, that's infamous Sylvia. That's she's over here in Chicago at court with R. Kelly. Yeah, but that's true. I'm on the Central Standard Time. Um, in his service. In his service, did you say you were in Chicago? Oh, you said what time am I? What time are you on? Oh, I don't really pick a time. I just when I get the stuff together. But in the service says you got heart. Yeah, I do. Thank you. She had security. The person who broke in knew the codes. Exactly. Yeah. Great job. Okay. Thank you. Yes. So I will, and just so you all know, on Monday, I had to change the date. We will be talking about career development. This channel is a bunch of different stuff. It's not just this. It's not really messy. Like I said, I'm an educator, so we will be sharing things like career development, have someone come in to speak with you all. And, we'll be talking about educational things and life things and a lot of things, Chicago things. And yes, so single parent things, the single parents who are in school. I was in college when I was a single parent when I was in college. I've since then become married, but I talk about the struggles that people have as single parents, trying to better their education and things like that. So that was the whole purpose of my channel. But you kind of have to mix it up, right? Because there's so much going on. So I can expound. Not my job to overshadow. I'm I'm W advisor. Find me on Quora. You're a worldwide advisor on Quora for the legal linguistics. I can expound. Oh, that's what I was saying. Do you want to come up? Because I'm not the legal. I'm healthcare and education. I'm going to follow you. Thank you so much. Do you want to come up in this service before we leave? Or do you want to wait till the next time? It's up to you. I can drop that link. You said, okay, let's see. Let me put it up there before I have to go for email. Let's see how this works. Now I'm going to. One more thing. Talk about young women learning to complete school, live strong quality. Oh, definitely, Miss J delivered. I definitely that's definitely one of my topics. Completing school. Oh yes, thank you. Anything you guys want to hear about, feel free to drop it, and I'll and if I don't know, I'll find someone who does. Just like in this service is coming up here to talk about the lingual for legal. Now, am I supposed to look somewhere for him? How do I find him? No, you don't have to pay. Why do you mean you have to pay to talk live? To get on the link? No, you just hit the link. It's free. Yeah, but I definitely talk about completing school, and I like to have I like to have input and things from people. Is it a certain? Did you hit the link? I don't see. Hmm. In the service, did you hit the link? Okay. I don't see you. So I'm gonna, let's see. Oh, maybe he left. Let me see. Hold on. Yes, that's a good topic. So, yes, being able to set. I love it, Miss J. I love it. Set and achieving. And if you go back and look at some of my videos that I have posted, I talked about some of that, like time management and things like that too. Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of that. Okay, so I don't think any service is going to come up, so I'm not going to hold you because I have a feeling this is going to go until tomorrow. So I'm going to take a picture of what you're saying, Miss J, because I love it. Things to talk about. I'm so surprised. I'm so happy to see so many of you are still hanging around. You were waiting for that. I was waiting for that verdict too, but it doesn't look like. You think his mom? You think? Oh, you think Tim's mom knew? Yeah. Social etiquette. Yeah. That. Oh, hold on. Let's see. It says device. They will need to connect their mic before you can add them. So you need to connect your mic in this service. It's saying you need to connect your mic. It wouldn't let you up. Social etiquette. Oh, good. That's something that YouTube needs to require that class before they let people even get a page. Miss J. That went way out the window. But yeah, that's something that should be discussed. And I love the fact that you said singleness is not a death sentence because it really isn't. No, don't you don't have to be you don't have to apologize. I love it. The ideas. For some reason in this service, it is not. Let's see. I don't know why it's not letting me let you up. It's saying devices not connected. They will need to connect their mic and or camera before you can add them to the string. So it's something that you're not doing right. I like your spirit. I will definitely be back. Thank you, Tiani. I look forward to you coming back. Um, yes, Miss J, that is so true. It is not a death sentence. I was saying, like I just recently got married and I'm 52, so it's not the and I was and you know what? And at some point you become okay with it, honestly, especially in today's world. I don't think if I hadn't married the person that I married, which was my 20-year-old's dad, I probably wouldn't have gotten married because it's so scary out here meeting new people. You run into Tim's, girl. You can run into some Tim's out here. Oh, you have to connect your mic and your camera in order for them to allow you to come up. That's what's going on. That's why it's not letting you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Miss J. Have a session about the challenges facing Black boys in school today. That's a good one in the comments, especially Black boys of single moms, right? That's a good one. Black boys in schools today. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's the type of stuff you guys want to hear. I love it. I like your spirit. I'll definitely be back. Hold on, working on this. Yes, Lord. No updates. No updates. Well, it's almost 5 o'clock. Um, why is that still okay? Let's see. Private chat. Let's see. I did ask him here. Let me see. You're not blocked on my side though. I don't know why it's doing that. Let's see. That is weird. Can I do a poll? Deborah, I'll be able to do a poll as soon as my community board shows up and it should be showing up within a matter of days because I once you get 500 subscribers, then it takes about a week, and it hasn't been a whole week yet. But as soon as I get that poll, those are the types of questions that I will be asking. You mean to see what type of a poll to see what type of what topics you want, because you guys can always share with me topics. You says I'm a single mom of two young men, and yes, that's a whole deep discussion in this. Oh, sure, yes. And Diva, uh, my mom, one of my moms, she has sons as well. Yeah, so yes, that's something that needs to be talked about. Yes, that needs to be talked about. If you can try one more time, in this service, and then I'll see what's going on because I don't know why it's saying that, but it wouldn't let you up. Yeah, Deborah. But anything you have an interest to, you can interest in talking about, you can always and I have an email on there too. It's swagfound@gmail.com. You can also email me, and you can put it in the chat, and I will make those a priority. Um, Can you try again in this service and see if you want? I don't know what's going on, why it's not doing that, why it's not letting me pull you up. Oh, you are. What grade do you teach, Lyndon? What grade do you teach? I better get some dinner ready. You guys have had dinner? I've been on this trying to wait for this. Whew. You said you'll talk live. I know. I was trying to let you up so you can talk. But I was saying if you try one more time, then I can see if I can let you up, or else we'll have to do it the next time. But I don't know why it's not connecting. For some reason, it's not connecting. It's not connecting. So we can try it the next time in this service, especially after we find this verdict. That'll be good to hear from you about the laws and things like that. Okay, I am going to end this live, and then we'll come back if we hear anything. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow. Email none of this okay makes any sense by tweaking now. And you're tweaking now by and tweaking now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. With your personality and heart, your channel will go far. Blessings to you. The swag is real. Dinner, baby, turkey wings, sweet potatoes, green beans, and a little rice. Oh, that sounds good, Miss J. Email me so we can be tight for your show, Queen. Oh, you can email me at swagfound. Swagfound one at gmail.com. Oh, that sounds good, Miss J. I gotta go find some dinner for my husband. He's gonna be walking in the door anytime soon. Very soon. And I didn't even catch his call because I was doing this. That's not good. But yeah, in this service, I said I'll catch you probably the next time because I gotta go get some food. This your blessing from God, huh? It's it's SWAAG, two A's, FOUND, swagfound at gmail.com. Okay. I am the director of gifted education for a school system in North Carolina. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. in the service. Really? Thank you for explaining. Oh, understanding. Thank you for explaining. Hi to you as well. Loving the channel. Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. In the service, you say your husband. You better go get dinner ready. Okay, peeps, I'm going to go for now. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for stopping by.